All right, so we were just talking about this whole issue of police brutality, police violence committed against multiple Americans, but especially African Americans. Yet, our next guest, Philip Clay with the Project 21, claims that black media doesn't talk about a major issue like black-on-black crime. So, really, I found that'd be really interesting. So he joins us right now. So, Philip, glad to have you here. So, how do you ascertain we don't discuss the issue of black-on-black crime?
Well, good evening, Roland, and thanks for having me on, and congratulations on your nomination for the NAACP award. So for me personally, I'd like to take the conservative out of this and really just talk to you as a young black male. From where I sit in Indiana, which has a very high crime rate when it comes to black Americans, I don't see the same outrage and instances of black on blacks, young black teens killing black teens, as I do when I see 5 black officers beating and killing Tyree Nichols in tragedy, or in instances like you were just talking about earlier in Mississippi, or in the George Floyd instances. To me, the article that I wrote and the reason I'm on your show is because I feel that until we as a community can start to rally together and say no more, we can't progress. My article intends to say that we need to, as a community, come together and stop blaming police, just blaming police, and we need to stand together, and we need to progress, and we need to make things happen.
What is the, so you say you're there in Indiana. What is the white-on-white crime rate in Indiana?
You know, rolling off the top of my head, I don't know that figure for you.
So I'm trying to understand, if you only mentioning black-on-black crime, how do you not mention white-on-white crime? Because if we're talking about crime in this country, we've seen an explosion in the last several years of crime in rural America that doesn't involve black people.
Right. Although 89% of black people are killing other black people. There was an article, unfortunately I can't share my screen like you can.
Right, but the reality is, if you look at actually crime in America, it typically happens where people live. So typically, if you're black, crime is being committed by someone black, and if you're white, crime is being committed by somebody white. So why is it that no one ever mentions white-on-white crime? Why is it the pathology always black-on-black crime?
Well, I think white-on-white crime is mentioned. I think it is.
No, it's not. It's that phrase is never even used. It's literally never even used.
So then what's it called, Roland?
Oh, it's called, first of all, they just say crime. But what you have is you have folks who say black on black crime. So again, so what I'm saying is,
why a population that's disproportionately affected. It is a big thing. And
I'm not saying it's not a big thing, but the reality is we do focus on what is the underlying issue of crime. So what is that? What's the underlying issue of crime?
Please tell me. Please tell me.
You don't know?
No, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
No, first of all, if you're going to write about how we should be focusing on crime, then you might want to be talking about what is the underlying issue of crime. John Hope Bryant talks all the time that you've never seen a riot in a community where the credit score is 700 or higher. I was just in Wichita, Kansas, the MLK event, and the former police chief of Philadelphia, the police chief of Wichita who came from Philadelphia, we were discussing this, and the reality is you can track crime rates in neighborhoods based upon economic status. And so if you want to address, so when you say we don't address the issue of crime, we do, because on this show, we consistently are talking about economics. We're talking about education. We're talking about access to capital. We're talking about housing. We're talking about all of those issues. Those are the fundamental underpinnings of crime in America.
Right. So I'm not sure if you read the article or not, but at the end of it, it does say that it's a community issue. We as a community have to fix this. But I don't think, like your last panelist was saying, by just vilifying police and saying that all the police are bad. And
I'm sorry, who said that?
I believe it was Reese.
No, she didn't. Reese didn't say all the police were bad. We were very specific about what cops we're talking about. And so if we're talking about cops, because you talk about a disproportionate rate, the fact of the matter is we see it where cops do lie. In your neighboring Chicago, there was a judge who got so sick and tired of cops lying on the witness stand that he literally reported them to the Citizens Accountability, saying, I will not allow these cops to come back in here. You have district attorneys in Prince George's County and also in Chicago. They have lists of cops who they will not let testify because they are known to lie. So why can't we hold cops accountable for also committing crimes and lying and making things up in police reports? And we will talk about what happens in the neighborhoods. Why can't we hold them accountable? They got badges and guns.
No one's saying that we can't hold them accountable. And I want to make that clear. And the article doesn't say that we can't hold them accountable. The article clearly says that good cops call out bad cops. And despite all
I'm sorry, you said good cops call out bad cops?
Good cops call out bad cops.
That's a lie. That is literally a lie. We saw right there in Memphis where so were there any good cops who showed up? We played a video yesterday. We played a video yesterday in Chicago where these two cops were beating this guy in a jail cell. Two cops, two other folks just stood there and watched them. We've shown a video on this show from Los Angeles, from Mississippi, from South Carolina, from North Carolina, from Philadelphia, from Detroit, where cops stand back and watch these things unfold, and they will actually back up the lying cop in police reports. So please show me where there's this swell or this groundswell of good cops reporting bad cops.
Roland, you and I agree on that subject, that those people are not good cops, the people that stand by idly and don't do anything. In doing research for the article, and fortunately enough, last year I had a chance to work with my local police department to understand what goes into being a police officer, because I wanted to know for myself what it takes to become a police officer. One of the things that was taught, one of the core things, was that not only is use of force a last resort, but you're also taught to de-escalate your partner when your partner becomes too emotionally involved or too attached to whatever's happening.
How often have you seen that? How often, when you've seen a lot of these video footages, now I've seen de-escalation when the person's white. I've seen a whole lot of de-escalation. But typically, when I'm seeing body cam footage and it's somebody black, I'm seeing an escalation of tensions. And so please give me some examples where de-escalation is often happening.
You're talking about the videos that have been seen. What about the thousands that haven't been released because there was a successful de-escalation or there was a successful stoppage of whatever was happening?
Or the examples where the cops didn't turn the cameras on, and where in Chicago they were breaking the antennas off of the dash cam cameras as well. I mean, again, the point here is, again, we're still talking about a fundamental problem in this country. Last year, police in America, based upon the data, Samuel Singawe, we had him on the show, they killed more people in 2022 than any other point in history. We have seen a dramatic increase of police violence. We have seen insurance companies come out and say that they are going to stop insuring cities, or they're going to actually raise their rates because of the high number of police violence cases. And so I'm trying to understand, you want to talk about black on black crime as a conservative. Here's what I want to know. Where are all of the fiscal conservatives complaining about the millions upon millions and billions being spent on police settlements?
That's a good question, Roland.
They're not there. I guess who I don't see? I don't see Grover Norquist. I don't see, let me tell you something. Memphis is probably going to pay $20, $30, $40 million settlement. It's likely going to be higher than the George Floyd settlement. Do you know who I have not heard a lot on this? Governor of Tennessee, the Tennessee legislature. I've not heard Republicans in that state say this is gross and it's unfair. What you do see, though, you typically will see Democrats or you see the Black Caucus. What I'm still trying to say to you, we have on this show and in other black media discussions about black on black crime. What we don't do is fall for the pathology of Fox News and other places. We talk about what creates those conditions and what must be done to change those neighborhoods. And so what I want to know is, how are you in Project 21 advancing those issues and then calling on your fellow conservatives to support those very issues?
Absolutely. I've spent the past couple of days being able to do press about this issue specifically. And the thing that's come out of it, and the thing I will stick to, is we have to be transparent, both in the community and on behalf of police departments or police departments themselves. There has to be open dialogue, and police departments have to show that whatever's being accused against them, levied against them, is not true. And the good cops do have to weed out the bad cops. And I understand that your thoughts on that, and you've made that point clear. But at the end of the day, there are still people that wake up every morning with their intention and their honor, and all they want to do is protect the people in the community in which they live and serve.
But where are those? Why is it that when we need those good cops to show up, we don't seem to see them? And in fact, why is it? Because again, I've talked to many officers, and I've talked to black officers, and I've had black officers tell me the safest they are is when they got a uniform on. They say, but damn, when I don't have my uniform on, I don't trust my own department. Those are black cops.
That's a departmental issue. And until people can actually go into those communities and start having those conversations and weeding out those bad chiefs of police, those bad officers, and working through that, it's going to continue to be the same.
You do know that there have been reports showing the number of white supremacists that have infiltrated police departments nationwide, right?
Yes.
Okay. You've seen the reports, again, of message boards and various Facebook groups where you've had these racist cops making comments, things along those lines. In Chicago, there were cops who admitted, yeah, we call folks the N-word. We freely throw it around. So if you're a black person in the Chicago community, why would you trust a racist cop? Hold on, I gotta pay some bills. Philip, I asked the question, if you're in a neighborhood and you have had bad encounters with cops and you know you're dealing with racist cops in those areas, how can you trust them?
I don't think you can. But I guess the question, my question back to you is, what do you do in that situation? What would you, Roland Martin, do in that situation if you can't trust the cops in your neighborhood?
I'm not dealing with them, because here's the deal. I lived in Chicago 6 years, okay? I have seen examples where the cops planted evidence, where they beat confessions out of people. Chicago had to pay upwards of $40 million in reparations to a number of black people who were beaten, who actually were electrocuted, their testicles, by Captain John Burge and those racists in the department. Chicago actually had a Holman Street location where they were holding people, depriving them of their due rights. Attorneys didn't even know where their clients were being taken. When the consent decree came down in Chicago, they admitted, oh yeah, we use the N-word. They admitted driving gang members from one territory to another and dropping them off to see if they actually lived. Okay, we saw again under Trump where Sessions tried to get rid of the consent decree in Baltimore. Cleveland's been under 2 consent decrees. But again, if we're gonna have a discussion about black on black crime, let's also at least say white on white crime, but let's deal with the issue of how do you address crime? You do not address crime with policing. You have to address crime in a holistic way. And unfortunately, Philip, Republicans and conservatives do not want to do that in this country. It's a matter of more jails, more police, more funding. Let's increase the funding, but not deal with the fundamental underpinning of crime in neighborhoods, which is poverty.
Again, I ask if you read my article, because at the end of it, again, I do say the only way that this works is if we as a community come together and try to fix this morally bankrupt system.
But why is it at the end of your article and not the beginning of your article?
It's throughout, Roland. There's a lot to unpack in what happened. There's a lot to unpack in what happened in Mississippi. Or I'm sorry, not Mississippi, in Memphis.
Let me go to my panel. Let's see, Reese, since he name checked you, you get the first question or comment.
Yes, I actually did read the article, and I have to say I think it's appalling to use the brutal death of Tyree Nichols to advance propaganda as Black people as violent. You compared. You compared. I listened for the past 10 minutes without, whatever. So anyway, so you compared the cops to gang violence, which is more coded language, anti-Black coded language. And I do agree with you on that, though, because the police departments, like the ones that are out of control and need consent decrees, which as a member of Project 21, I'm sure you know that in their Black agendas to do away with consent decrees, that the police officers often are like gang members. This just so happens to be Black gang members that are in the police department, and they just so happen to not get the protection of that blue line. But to your point that Black people don't care about Black on Black crime, that is completely false. I lived like Roland. I lived in Chicago, where every summer, and I'm appalled by violence. Period. Regardless of the race. But every summer, as soon as it got over 50 degrees on the radio all day, all you hear on every single radio station is stop the violence, leave the guns at home, don't kill anybody, don't shoot anybody. I remember very vividly when Hadia Pendleton, a young lady, a young teenager, went to the White House went to the Obama inauguration, and she was gunned down in Hyde Park. And First Lady Michelle Obama actually went to her funeral. And so this whole notion that Black people don't care about crime within our race is even more anti-Black and white supremacist. But my question to you is, how do you reconcile this notion that cops are inherently good and that we need to weed out the few bad rotten apples if you are part of a project that wants to do away with consent decrees and wants to federally enshrine qualified immunity?
What I've been saying in this article, what I will continue to say, is at the end of the day, there are men and women who wake up every day who want nothing more than to serve and protect the communities in which they live in. That has been my stance. That will continue to be my stance. Black conservative, white conservative, Black Democrat, white Democrat, whatever. That's my stance.
Okay, so but before I go to Erica, I have your article up. Go to my iPad, please. So here's the deal. Your lead in your article, you talk about working with local cops. Then you talk about you're not naive that your hometown in Indiana is Memphis. Then in your third paragraph, first of all, you talk about de-escalation. In your third paragraph, you say, I ask myself, though, where's the outrage for all Black on Black crime? Why are leaders in the community like Al Sharpton not vocal about the children who are killed in Black on Black crime on a daily basis in places like Chicago? Well, first of all, that's a lie. I do know for a fact he's talked about it, even moved there for us time. I do know people who have marches and rallies in Chicago. I've covered them. I don't know if Project 21 has. And then you go on, you say, as these leaders continue to vilify police and cause tensions to rise, how are they causing tensions to rise when it's the cops who's actually killing people? They set these communities and the police who are sworn to protect them back another step. Really? Then you go in and complain about CNN. Then you talk about mirror gang violence. Then you go talk about we still see men and women of all races, religions and creeds going to work to protect the communities, blah, 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 blah. Then you get this is what you keep talking about at the end of your article. This is literally what you wrote in the article, because I swore that there was some other stuff down here. That's where that white space is, because I thought there was more to it. This is literally all you said. We have to raise up the officers who are doing their utmost to defend and protect and work to weed out those who would break their oath. We have to stop looking to put the blame on everyone else and start looking at giving real leaders a chance to rebuild our morally decayed community. So in the third paragraph, you mentioned Black on Black crime. In the last sentence, the last half of the last sentence, you say, we have to stop looking to put the blame on everyone else and start looking at giving real leaders a chance to rebuild a morally decayed community. You literally say nothing about why there's Black on Black crime. You literally don't even, I'm looking for it. I'm trying to see, do I see poverty? No. Do I see education? No. Do I see lack of economic advancement? No. Your entire piece is really about, oh my goodness, we've got some really great, wonderful cops. So how can you make it about Black on Black crime when you don't even address the issue of the underpinning of Black on Black crime in your entire piece?
Again, Roland, my position is and will continue to be that I don't see protests in the street for children being killed in Chicago.
You're a lie. I'm sorry. If you don't see it, Philip, that's because you choose not to see it. They have been protests. First of all, here's the question. Where are you in Indiana?
Indianapolis.
When the last time you been in Chicago?
I typically don't go to Chicago.
Gotcha. So you don't go to Chicago. So no. Do you follow any Chicago media?
No, what incentive do I have?
No, wait. Do you know any activists in Chicago?
Yes.
Do you know any community leaders in Chicago?
I know community leaders in Gary, Indiana.
No, I didn't say Gary, Indiana. I said Chicago. Chicago is not Gary, Indiana.
Deontay Johnson, Black Conservative Federation.
You got Deontay. Oh, that idiot? Hold up. Wait. Are you sick? That's who you claiming? Dude, don't even try that one. Here's the problem with what you said. You just said, quote, I don't see any protests in Chicago of black on black. You don't know anybody in Chicago. You haven't even been there. See, this is the problem when you say I haven't seen it. If you ain't been there and you don't know anybody and you likely don't follow them on social media, you wouldn't see it. But the reality is it does exist. So Philip, never ever come on television and say, well, I don't see it if your eyes are closed because you never opened them. We have literally had the people on this show live from protests. So for you to say, well, I don't see it, you try to act like it doesn't exist. It does. So if you've never made the effort to find out that they are protesting, how can you then criticize folk for saying they're not protesting?
I don't know what you're trying to accomplish.
Philip, let me help you out with something. Let me just help you out with something, Philip.
Usually I ask for help if I need.
No, because you need some help right now, Philip. Like you need some help real bad. If I said I have never ever seen Philip in a red tie, and if somebody says, Roland, have you ever met Philip? No. Have you ever seen Philip on TV? No. Have you ever seen Philip at an event? No. Well, hell, if you ain't never seen Philip, of course you ain't never seen Philip in a red tie. So how can you say people are not protesting black on black violence in Chicago, but they are, but you haven't seen it and you've made no attempt to find out it exists. But let me ask you this question. And I want you to answer that one too first. Why are you so worried about Chicago and you ain't focused on crime in Indianapolis?
We are focused on crime in Indianapolis.
So why are you bringing up Chicago though? Because I'm sorry, go back to my iPad. I'm looking at your column. You simply state, I've had the opportunity to work with my local police department. You don't name it. You say I'm not naive enough to equate my hometown in Indiana to Memphis. You don't name your hometown. And so why is it that, again, third paragraph, right here, why are leaders in the community like Al Sharpton not vocal about the children who are killed in black on black crime on a daily basis in places like Chicago? Why didn't you mention your city?
I mentioned Indianapolis in all the radio interviews I've done.
No. Why didn't you mention your crime in your city in your column? All right, let me do this better. Philip, what are you doing to solve the crime issue in Indianapolis? I want to hear specifics.
Working with local police departments to bridge the gap between the police and the community.
How? No. What are you doing in the community? I get the cop part. Has the community ever seen you?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm sorry. What communities?
Indianapolis. Plainfield.
No. What communities in Indianapolis?
I literally just said that. Indianapolis, Marion County as a whole, Plainfield, Avon, Brownsburg, Danville, Johnson County.
And what are you doing? What are you doing in those communities?
Working to improve police
relations. Like what? No. But what are you doing? Like when you say working, have you had community-based town halls? Not the cops, the community. When?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. 2020.
No, when?
Do you want exact dates, Roland? I don't have my iPad.
No. I want to know when. Because see, I know people in Indianapolis. I've spoken to them many times. I'm going to call them and I'm going to find out. I'm going to say, hey, have y'all ever seen Philip? I'm going to call them. Have you ever seen Philip? Has Philip ever come around? Because see, you keep saying you putting in the work. So, okay, how about this here? In the last year, how many community-based town halls have you actually held or attended community-based town halls in Indianapolis? Not cops, the community. How many?
I've not been at any in the last year.
Whoa, stop. Whoa, hold up. See, now, hold up. I'm up against a break. I'm gonna hold you over for one more. Cause see, I'm trying to figure out all this work you say you doing. I need to know what that work is. Because if you say you want to fix Chicago and you ain't had not now in a year in Indianapolis, not one. Okay, hold on. We'll be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered. See, Philip, you want to have the conversation on black-owned media. Oh, you having it. We'll be right back. No, we'll be right back, Philip. I'm going to give you some time, Philip. We'll be right back.
No, because it's not even a conversation.
I'm going to give you some time, Philip.
At this point, it's not even a conversation.
Most people. See, I told y'all. See? Don't mess with a grown-ass man. Philip didn't do his homework. See, Philip went on other people's shows who didn't question him. They didn't actually break down his article. I'm about to go to Erica and Michael. But see, oh, by the way, y'all, you know Philip hung up. You know Philip hung up. He hung up. And they've been calling him back, texting him. And I said, let him know he can talk for the first 2 minutes. But Philip hung up because he couldn't take that heat. Because see, y'all, see what happens is, see, Philip, the basis of his, see, y'all got to understand. The basis of Philip's article, oh, y'all don't discuss black on black crime. Okay, you want to have that conversation, Philip? Let's have that conversation. And y'all heard he kept saying, no, but I said at the end of my article, we as a community, we got to come together and solve the problem. Oh, but then when I asked Philip, when has the community seen you? Philip, well, I work with the cops, not the community. Oh, Philip, Philip, when did you last work with the community? Any town halls in the last year? No. What the hell you been doing? See, Erica, they don't like getting questioned on specifics. See, he was like, oh, you ain't let me talk. No, I let you talk because you can't answer my questions. That's the real deal. He couldn't answer the questions because he thought he was going to come on here and talk about how black media don't do this and y'all don't discuss black on black crime until I start questioning his ass on what he ain't doing.
Period. And sent poor little Tink Tink home. But I'm glad that line of questioning came out because if you look at his Twitter page, you can see how Philip Clay gets his bag. More importantly, I am very tired of people raising their platforms off of the backs and off of the pain of Black grief. And one of the things that I was going to ask him was, did he know what grief does to the first, did he know Tyree Nichols, his mother and father's name, and specifically his mother, who talked about how much Tyree loved her, how he had her name tattooed on his arm, and that's something that you don't mostly get from kids, especially young men, but he did that, and he was the youngest in his family and very well loved, a young father. And that on January 28th, he felt it fitting to pen 4 to 5 paragraphs of complete bullshit on the back and on the grief of Mrs. Rovon Wells. Completely disgusting. For someone that is either self-identified or has been told that he is a rising star in what is effectively known as the terror group, the Grand Old Party, the Republicans, do that in its own space, not off of Black pain. And I'm also glad, Roland, that you brought forward that PBS piece because I had that in my favorites and I pulled it up in that 2006 bulletin that the FBI published, heavily redacted, but spoke very, very clearly to not white supremacy, what it actually is, white nationalism, and that how folks that are a part of this movement literally terrorize Black and Latino communities. So I feel like whatever it is that Philip is looking to achieve, keep Black people name the hell out of your mouth, because I would love to hear his talking points when his face is pushed up against the ground and he's being tased.
See, Michael, I know some real Black conservatives. I actually know some Black conservatives who are in communities that do the work. But see, Philip thought he could just sit his ass and bang out some comments and the National Review put it up. And these white conservatives go, oh, we've got one of us. Look at that. He's challenging Sharpton. Because see, what people don't understand, y'all, game recognized game. So they love throwing Sharpton's name. They love throwing out Chicago. So you see how I busted him on that. How you from Indianapolis and you gonna mention black on black crime in Chicago, but what you don't mention is that most of the guns that where you have the crime committed in Chicago come from across the border in Indiana. Oh, I bet Phil don't want to discuss gun control though. See, this is the game they play. And see, this is the grift. That's why that fool mentioned that ignorant ass fool Deontay. That's why his little trifling ass won't come on the show with me. Cause see, I schooled him like I did Philip because they are not credible people. How can you talk about, well, we the community, we gotta have new leaders, and he could not name a single community-based town hall that he was engaged in for the last year. Come on.
Yeah, Roland, I read the article from J. Philip Clay. First of all, when I saw he was from Project 21, I said, this is going to be some BS right now, because I was on with Reese when Craig DeLuce was on and we tore his ass up, okay, from Project 21 also. So I read the article, and just like you, Roland, I saw the white space at the bottom, so I thought it was a whole
right.
3, 4, 5 paragraphs.
Wait a minute, hold on. I hit refresh because I thought only half of the article loaded. So I hit refresh and I was like, hell, that's just white space. It ain't nothing down here.
Exactly. I kept looking and I said, wait a second, is this it? Because I printed up the article. It's right here and I made notes because I had questions for him. So let me say this. I do think that he wants to save, African-American lives, black lives from violence, things like this. But he's grossly misguided. And one of the problems is when you have black conservatives, especially young black conservatives like him, one, they don't understand history. Okay, number one. Two, one of the questions I was going to ask him is that did he know that from 1980 to 2008 that the majority of gang homicides in America were committed by white offenders? 53.3% were committed by white offenders. And from 1980 to 2008, the majority of gang homicide victims were white people, 56.5%. And what happens is the way the media presents these narratives and presents stories, they hide the quote unquote white on white crime that they don't want to talk about. Okay. And they keep, and it was great. It was basically white controlled media that created black on black crime. Because if they talk about white crime, they don't use the term white on white crime. But I encourage everybody to read this article from AtlantaBlackStar.com. It's called 9 Facts That Show White on White Crime Far Exceeds Black on Black Crime and How Media Outlets Conceal It. And then there's one of my favorite articles is from thinkprogress.org called from March 25th, 2015, called How News Outlets Convince You That Most Criminals Are Black. How news outlets convince you that most criminals are black. Now, this was a nationwide study of local news affiliates, NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox News affiliates. And they looked at the news coverage that they did of stories that dealt with crime. And they found that African Americans made up disproportionately stories where they were the perpetrators, but it was disproportionate to their arrest rate. So we made up like about 51% of the arrests, but 75% of those stories dealing with crime.
Got it.
So this is the game that conservatives play. This is not Fox News. You need to know what you talk about when you come on this show.
See, the thing here, Reese, this laughable. I don't see people protesting black on black crime in Chicago. Do you know anybody in Chicago? Nope. Do you follow anybody in Chicago? Nope. Have you been to Chicago? Nope. Well, of course your blind ass ain't seen nothing. But see, again, that's why you don't make stupid comments like that. And again, I'm still trying to understand, Reese, how can Philip be from Indianapolis, but he want to throw Chicago in? You know why? Because Chicago is the new N-word for Republicans. Chicago is the new N-word. Yep. Anytime something happens, wait a minute, what about Chicago? Well, what about Chicago? Well, what about Chicago? Philip, what about Indianapolis?
Hello. And his profile says Plainfield, Indiana. I don't even know what that is, but it certainly isn't as catchy and flashy as Chicago. I'm trying to figure out, why is Chicago in it? You ain't been there. You ain't stepped foot in there. You don't know nothing about the Magnificent Mile, Garrett's Popcorn. There's a number of things that I will talk about in Chicago before I get to quote unquote black on black crime. And like I said, obviously, black people in Chicago don't want black motherfuckers shooting their ass either. They don't want the cops and they don't want their neighbors shooting them. I think that everybody black can agree that crime in general is bad, point blank and a period. But to your point, Roland, it's about the boogeyman. It's about this. It's like CRT is a word, as a euphemism. Woke is a euphemism for the white supremacist, white nationalist party to just say the N-word without saying the N-word. So he was very deliberate in talking about a place that he doesn't know. He did not know statistics, so you don't have data. You don't have even anecdotal evidence because you haven't been there. You don't know nobody from there, but you're talking about it like you have some kind of authority. Go to hell, bitch. How about that?
So this is from a Indianapolis TV station just 2 days ago. Go to my iPad. Violent crime plagues some indie bars, yet the state does little to enforce its policies. If I scroll the article, I don't see Phillip's name anywhere. Anywhere. Okay, hold up. Let's see here. Okay. Same station. Crime mapping, what parts of Indianapolis saw the most homicides in 2022? While Indianapolis saw a decrease in homicides in 2022, so did Chicago, police continue to push for fewer homicides and violent crimes. In 2022, 226 people lost their lives in a homicide in Indianapolis, down about 15%. This is a decrease of 45 homicides. And so as you see it here, a gunshot is listed as a cause of death for 86.7% of the homicides. Phillip, are you speaking out against guns? Phillip, I got something for you to do in Indianapolis. Nearly 66% of the homicides in Indianapolis remain unsolved as of early January. Of the 226 homicides, police made an arrest in 66.
Roland, can I point out too?
Ain't that, and hold up, of the homicide of 2022, largest group, 25-34, black men aged 18 to 24 made up the largest group. So here's the question, Phillip. You keep meeting with the cops. Why aren't you focused on your own city of Indianapolis? You're not, Phillip, because you know why? You don't give a damn about those communities. What you want to do is you want to make a point by taking a shot at Sharpton and at black leaders and black on black violence in Chicago. Reese, I'm on overtime, but I got 20 seconds to go.
He lives in Plainfield, Indiana, which is a population of 34,000 and 87% white. So you really pushing this anti-black.
So he don't even live in Indianapolis.
He ain't even from Indianapolis.
Boy.
He lives in a suburb of Indianapolis.
Boy.
Go to his Twitter page. I'm not going to say it, but go to his Twitter page. I did.
Michael, that's how he's
Go to his Twitter page.
What's his name again?
You will see how he's getting the bag.
Plainfield, Indiana.
J Phillip
Clay?
Clay?
I didn't make that up. That's what he has publicly.
J Phillip Clay. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up.
Show his Twitter page on your screen.
Here we go. Y'all pull it up right here. It says J. Phillip Clay,
Everything you need.
husband, father, Christian conservative. It says Plainfield, Indiana. Phillip,
Scroll up to the picture.
Phillip, no, his tweets are protected. Phillip, you don't even live in Indianapolis. Boy, bye. Phillip, again. Phillip, I just want to warn you of something. Phillip. My daddy told me something when I was younger, Phillip. He said, son, never mess with a grown-ass man.
You can't slick a can of oil.
He said, son, when you mess with a grown-ass man, and you're going to get a grown-ass whooping. Phillip, you just got a grown-ass whooping. The next time you even attempt to challenge black-owned media, I want you to remember this ass whooping just like the one I got when my dad lit me up when I was in school. Phillip, call Deontay. Y'all can cry together by messing with me. I'll be back. Folks, Folks, we're 1 year away from the 2024 presidential election. Donald Trump's leading the polls on the Republican side. President Joe Biden, of course, on the Democratic side, is likely to be a rematch from 2020 when Biden beat Trump. A co-founder of a Black Lives Matter chapter in Rhode Island says that Donald Trump has done more for black folks than any other president, and actually he is the choice. Mark Fisher is that individual. Mark joins us right now on the show. Mark, glad to have you here. So first and foremost, when you made an assessment about this campaign, and you basically said nobody is good.
That's right.
Okay, explain.
Well, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Everybody else sucks, I said, to quote myself. And, you know, when you look at who we have sitting in the White House right now, I said he's a deep disappointment. He's let me down. He's let my community down. The whole Democratic Party is a complete disappointment. And I think that as an independent, I will endorse Donald Trump as the best candidate that we have.
Why is he the best?
Well, because he's somebody who I would consider a strong man. I consider him somebody who would give us respect on the world stage.
You say we don't have respect on the world stage?
I feel like it's waning. I feel like
it's what?
I feel like it's when we have somebody like Joe Biden as the head of state representing us globally, I don't think it's the same as if it's Donald Trump representing us.
President Joe Biden was able to pull back the NATO coalition, which Donald Trump actually splintered during his 4 years. That played a role in terms of what we see happening with Ukraine and Russia. We have also seen, again, European leaders talk about his leadership. So explain that, because obviously international leaders had, except for the dictators, they had a totally different view of the foreign policy of the United States under Trump and Biden.
Well, fundamentally, they both come from a different perspective. When you look at somebody like Donald Trump, he's America first. Make America great again. Joe Biden is a globalist from a globalist camp.
How is Trump America make it great again when, if you look at Donald Trump, even before he got in, he's been doing business all across the country, doing Saudi Arabia, doing China, and all of his deals since he got out of the White House. So how is he a Make America First when that's not how he's operated in his business all of these years?
Okay, well, when you look at the persecution that he's facing, 91 felonies. 91.
So what, you say he should have been indicted?
That's not what I said. I said,
No, you call it persecution, so which means that he is being targeted. How is he being persecuted?
Well, Letitia James ran on getting Trump. That was her whole campaign motto. We're going to get Trump. Am I wrong?
The judge in New York has already ruled against them that they actually were inflating the value of their property.
Okay.
Now the trial is going on. No, but you said he's being persecuted. How is he being persecuted? Is he being persecuted in Georgia, where 3 of his attorneys, they actually have already pled guilty in that particular case for their role in the 2020 presidential election in Georgia?
Yes, they did. They pled guilty.
Right. So how's he being persecuted, though?
Because they're trying to use them to get him.
No. How is he being persecuted? Did he not, based upon, according to District Attorney Fonnie Willis, that Donald Trump tried to get officials in Georgia to, frankly, change the results of the election?
Look, I could get you to jump off a bridge or to try to jump off a bridge. And if you jump off a bridge, am I responsible?
Okay, you do know he's on tape calling the Secretary of State saying, find me 11,000 votes. He tried to pressure the governor, the Secretary of State, the head of the elections. So that's just one particular case as well. In the documents case, they asked him to return the documents. He refused to do so. He lied to his own attorneys about that. He told one of his employees, who is now flipped, do not move those documents. So I'm trying to understand, you say he's being persecuted. If an individual committed acts, that's on them. So how is he being persecuted?
Because they're trying to use them to get him.
No, not them. I'm asking you again. If the federal government, if they say these are classified documents, you are to return them, he says no. And they say, we have a subpoena. He ignores the subpoena. When he tells his attorneys took actual notes.
Okay, well, hold on.
No. You said
hold on.
it's being persecuted.
Wait a minute.
And that's just 2 cases.
91 felonies. You can't even keep up with all the felonies. You can't even track all the cases across the country.
Actually, you can't.
And the charges that he's facing. You have to take them one at a time. There's so many. They're coming fast and furious.
Actually, we can track them. But again, though, if an individual believes that he is above the law and he's not, if he committed crimes, then he should be prosecuted. Yes or no?
Nobody's above the law. That's not the question. The question is, did he commit crimes?
Well, first of all, that's why they're trials.
That's the question.
Well, first of all, that's why they're trials.
Right, exactly. So, but when you talk about somebody who's acting on their constitutional right.
What constitutional right?
Freedom of speech.
Is there a constitutional right to overthrow an election?
He believes, and as many do, that there was some suspect activity involved in the 2020 election.
How many lawsuits did his campaign file, and how many did they win?
So, but what I'm saying,
asking you a question.
I don't know. What I'm saying
I can give the answer. More than 60 lawsuits were filed. They lost them. Courts, Trump judges, Republican governors, Republican Secretary of States certified the election results. Now, here's the question. I'm confused. If there was election irregularities in Georgia, how did the Republican governor win? The Republican lieutenant governor, the Republican Secretary of State. How did Republicans win all statewide offices in Georgia in 2020, but this one race, there were problems?
I'm going to tell you.
How?
Because they're all part of the same deep state.
Dude,
corrupted.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
Gonna let me finish?
Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, endorsed Trump, correct or not?
They're all part.
I'm asking you a question. Did the Republican governor, Brian Kemp, endorse Trump?
I don't know.
Yes, he did. Did the Republican lieutenant governor endorse Trump?
I don't know.
Did the Republican Secretary of State endorse Trump? Yes. So again, I'm confused here. All of these Republicans endorsed Donald Trump, yet all these Republicans won. He didn't. He's saying, oh, it's fraud.
So, like I said, when you look at the government, both parties.
No. See, again,
Democrat and Republican.
You mentioned persecution, and there were 4 cases. You mentioned
especially the Democratic Party.
You mentioned 91 indictments.
It's a smorgasbord of BS.
You still, but hold up. You say let's take it case by case.
Suspect behavior and activity.
I'm taking it case by case.
Both parties.
No. I'm taking it.
And he's anti-institution.
Mark, you say
that's the problem that people have with him. That's the problem James has with him. That's the problem Bragg has with him. That's the problem Smith has with him. And that's the problem Willis has with him. That he is anti everything they love.
No, he's not.
Institution.
No, he's
They're
not.
very comfortable, right? And rightfully so. I'm not here to bash them or hate on them. God bless them. I love them.
But what you're doing is making stuff up.
What am I?
So again, no. You say it out of your mouth. He was being persecuted. You mentioned the 91 indictments. You mentioned the 4 different cases. I walk you through 2 of those. The judge has already ruled that Donald Trump and his Trump organization absolutely inflated their assets, which is against the law. Donald Trump's own accountants testified that they actually inflated. He even inflated the size of his own penthouse.
I just don't understand how people can't think for themselves. You got all these zombies walking around. You're telling me you got all these people walking that can't think for themselves, doing whatever's in their best interest for their own expedience and their careers. But every time it happens, it comes back to Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Throw him in prison. Take all his assets. Throw him under the bus. Take him off the ballots. Like. You don't think people can see this? So
what you're saying is
this is anti-American.
What you're saying is actually no, because there's a sign above the Supreme Court. It says equal justice under law. What you're saying is you don't mind a liar. What you're saying is you don't mind somebody making.
What did he lie about?
Donald Trump lied about the value of his assets. Donald Trump has lied about not trying to overturn.
Can I say something?
Hold on, Mark, I'm not done.
On that point,
Mark,
I just want to, because you said he lied about the value of his assets. You're saying that he lied, his people are lying for him all the time. So what I'm saying is, if he's asking for 11,000 votes, if they're doing that, if he's asking people to make his property as lucrative and as attractive as possible. And these people are doing it, right? They're doing it. Whether they're doing it or not, that is their own personal business and choice to do that. If he says, I'm looking for 11,000 votes,
you're absolutely,
I know people who have reached out to me, black people, who tell me that there has been all kind of fishy business going on.
And Mark,
double voting, triple, quadruple,
and you're right
quintuple voting. No, I can tell you, people are reaching out to me, telling me they keep calling him Bill, William, Willis, so on and so on. And the Democratic elected.
So you say,
oversight.
Oh my God, I see double voting.
That's what people are telling me.
But the Republicans in Georgia.
So I'm just saying,
Mark, wait a minute, Mark.
There's reason.
I'm going to finish, Mark.
There's reasonable doubt.
I'm going to finish. No, it's not. No, it's
That's
not.
all I'm saying.
When you have,
and you can't blame him for that. That's protected under our First Amendment right.
Are you literally making this up as you go along?
So we don't have protected rights.
You do know. You do know.
We don't have the right,
Mark,
freedom of speech.
You do know.
We don't have the right to access the courts. We don't have the right to keep ourselves quiet.
You cannot seize ballots.
We don't have the right
to cannot seize voting
not be
machines.
sieged and surged, to not be violent. We have rights in this country. And that's one of them, to speak our mind. Assembly. Mark, we have these rights.
Speaking your mind and lying. Aren't you a pastor?
I have a background in theology.
Okay, I got a what in theology?
A background in theology.
A background in theology.
Does the I've never been a pastor.
Okay,
I preached. I taught Bible study.
Question. Yeah. Okay, fine. So does the Bible,
I have a degree in theology.
That you actually read, what does it say about lying?
It said all lies will find their place in the pit of hell with fornicators, homosexuals, liars, and all ungodly form.
Well, that must mean Donald Trump is sitting on a throne in hell, because that man has just lied about numerous things.
Well, listen.
But hold up. I'm gonna ask you this question. You said that Trump has done more for the black community than any president. What has he done?
He's done a lot.
Name it.
Actually.
Name it.
And I'm surprised that most people don't really know.
No, I'm asking you to name it.
Okay.
Name it.
I'm going to. For starters, because this is important as an educated man, and $250 million annually has been allocated to HBCUs, which is big because I went to Hampton. No, it's not a lie. No, it's not a lie.
Stop. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
And minority serving schools.
I'm sorry.
But it's all together. It's for people of color.
Let me ask you a question, Mark.
90 million of it went to black schools.
Mark,
and not only that,
Mark, let me ask you a question.
It was about to be expired. He took the initiative to not let it expire. And not only that,
Mark, you're wrong.
Give it a 10-year stay where it was being done every year. He said, why do we have to keep coming back every year to get money?
Mark, what you just said right now is a lie.
Let me
prove you.
Prove me wrong.
The program that you're talking about started under President George W. Bush.
The president and CEO of the United Negro Fund thanked him publicly.
Will you please listen? See, again, though. When you're operating in an alternative world, I'm giving you for real facts. Let me say it again.
He did not thank him publicly.
Mark, listen.
The United Negro Fund president and CEO, Mr. Lomax, did not thank him publicly.
The program you're speaking of started under President George W. Bush. It continued under President Barack Obama. It expired. What you do not know is that Donald Trump zeroed that program out of his budget. It was Congressman Alman Adams of North Carolina who put it back in the budget. She was the co-chair of the Congressional HBCU caucus. Then it went to the United States Senate. Donald Trump, let me tell you again, Mark.
Signed off on it.
No, he did not sign off on it. Again, Donald Trump's budget, which he submitted to Congress, removed the money. Congress put it back in, led by Alma Adams. Now, do you know who broke that thing down? A gentleman named Walter Kimbrough. Do you know who Walter Kimbrough is? Two-time HBCU president who detailed it, who was actually in that meeting in the Oval Office when Trump was there. So what you're sitting on, you're saying, oh, $250 million. Let me ask you this question. How much money have HBCUs gotten in the last 3 years from the Biden-Harris administration?
I don't know, but I never paid $10 for eggs or $5 for gas.
What school did you say you went to?
I never paid $10 for eggs or $5 for gas.
Mark, don't try to change the subject.
No, I'm just telling you. You're talking about the economy. Under Trump, it was booming.
Mark, I'm asking you again.
And black unemployment was at a historic all-time low.
HBCUs.
You want to talk about numbers?
We're going to stay on HBCUs. What school you went to again?
I went to Hampton for a year.
Oh, you went to Hampton.
And then I went to North Point Bible College in Haverhill, Mass.
So let me ask you this question, Mark. You said Trump allocated $250 million to Black and Hispanic serving institutions. About 90.
You're reading it.
No. I don't have to read because I got it up here. You say about 90 million of that went to HBCUs, right? That's what you say, correct?
That's correct.
Mark,
that is the recognized information.
Mark, are you
consensus
aware?
information.
Are you aware? In the last 3 years under Biden and Harris, $6.5 billion has gone to HBCUs, not Hispanic serving institutions. HBCUs, $6.5 billion. So you held up $90 million under Trump and $6.5 billion under Biden Harris, but you say Trump is better for HBCUs?
You're telling me.
Do you need the proof?
You're telling me Joe Biden.
Do you want the proof?
Gave $6.5 billion.
I'm sorry. Do you want the proof?
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Okay, here's the deal.
To HBCUs.
Oh, no, yes.
And he can't even.
Hold up.
He can't even put together a reparations commission. Why would he do that?
And a matter of fact,
he's such a flip-flopper.
Hold up, wait. Oh, here we go. You went to
Hampton,
Hampton,
right? He's such a liar.
You went to Hampton, right?
He's such a duplicitous.
Did you go to Hampton? Did you go to Hampton?
That's why he picked the vice president he picked.
Did you go to Hampton?
He could have picked anybody else.
Did you go to Hampton?
Because they're both just as duplicitous.
Did you go to Hampton? You say you went to Hampton, right?
2 peas in a pod.
You went to Hampton, right?
She's Indian.
You went to Hampton, right?
HBCU
you went
tours.
To Hampton, didn't
but
you?
during the tours, she's all Wakanda forever.
See, Mark, see what you're doing. See,
what am I doing?
See, this is why you love Trump. Because you're doing the same nonsense he do. You bring up something, then you switch topics.
You told me you was going to show me. I said I'd love to see it.
Mark, I'm walking you through it.
I'm waiting, bro.
I told you point blank. Hampton University, I'm going to tell you how much Hampton actually got. Hampton University, $48.7 billion under Cap 1, $4.2 under CARES Act, $9.8 under CARES Act.
Wait.
$6 million under CARES Act.
When did this happen?
$12 million. Hold on. American Rescue Plan, $12 million.
Who?
Last 3 years.
And to what extent?
American Rescue Plan 2, $21. Your university.
You're reading numbers.
Wait.
What is that? What source is that?
Department of Education.
Okay. And when did this happen?
The last 3 years.
The last 3 years, each year.
Each year.
Okay.
The total amount that your university.
Okay, but you're telling me that still doesn't equate to 10 years.
Mark, listen.
$95 million.
Mark, that's a lie.
How is that?
Your own university, Hampton, received $112 million alone. The total amount that went to
over the last 3 years.
The total amount that went to HBCUs.
You saying over the last 3 years?
$6 billion.
Over the last 3
$567 million.
You saying Hampton got how much?
$112 million.
Over how long? What type?
In the last 3 years. And I named them. Let me name them again. So
you're saying,
hold up. Cap 1 forgiveness.
40
hold up. No, I want you to listen. I want you to listen, because see, right now you ain't listening. Cap 1 forgiveness. CARES Act. CARES Act 2. Then you have American Rescue Plan, American Rescue Plan 2. Your own university got more by itself than Donald Trump signed the bill for all HBCUs.
Okay, but the CARES Act is expired. The act is over. He did a 10-year plan.
No, he didn't.
CARES is done.
It wasn't even him. It was Alma Adams. Okay, so far, HBCU. What else has he done for black people? What else?
First Step Act. For those who ain't educated, for the non-bourgeoisie class, for those who gotta deal with recidivism and oppressive tentacles and tenets.
Who passed that bill?
Institutions.
Who passed that bill?
That crush us on a daily basis.
Who passed that bill?
I know who signed it.
No.
I know who signed it.
Wait, hold on.
Why are you asking me questions?
Hey, Mark, Ronald Reagan signed the MLK federal holiday and opposed it.
Do you know what the bill does? Do you know what the first step? Because you're really being defensive. You asked me
did the First Step Act
and
pass?
then as soon as I mentioned it, you get in defensive.
No. I'm explaining to you who passed it. Who passed the First Step Act in the House? Who was the co-author?
Bro.
Who was the co-author?
Ask me what did Donald Trump do?
No, Mark. But Donald
I'm prepared to answer what Donald Trump did, not what the House members did. I don't care about the House members.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. So help me out here.
I don't care about the Senate. I don't care about Mitch McConnell.
I'm confused. So you don't care.
He's not running for president.
I'm confused. You don't care about the people who actually wrote the bill. No. You don't care. I'm sorry.
No, because you want to know why? Because the George Floyd Policing Act is still languishing.
Why?
And because they are a freaking gridlock in Washington. That's why.
Who is that?
They don't do nothing.
Who passed the George Floyd?
They get nothing done.
Who passed the George Floyd Act?
Obama had to sign all kind of orders to get stuff done.
Who passed the George Floyd Act?
By the way, speaking of
who passed the George Floyd Act?
Democratic Party.
Who passed the George Floyd Act?
The obsolete antiquated Democratic Party.
So Democrats passed it in the House, and Senator Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham could not get 8 Republicans on board to go along with it, and that's why it's dead.
Okay, but it's dead, right? In Congress.
Because the Republican Party.
But you're asking me why don't I care about Congress, and I'm telling you why.
Hold on, I'm scared. Hold up. But how can you say you don't care about Congress, but you're giving Trump credit for bills that Congress passes?
Okay, I'm giving Trump credit for bills.
How? He didn't pass them.
Get passed.
He didn't. Wait, hold up.
Or
Mark, I'm confused.
Yes.
You don't care about Congress,
right?
But you giving Trump credit for bills that Congress passed,
right? Exactly.
So how can you ignore the people who passed the bills for him to sign?
Okay, and so that's my point. Because in order to order to get Congress to sign off on the bill, right, which is constantly in gridlock, you have to have somebody who knows how to make a deal.
And he couldn't make no deal.
Who's a negotiator? Who makes things.
This is hilarious. Okay, what else he did for black people? That's
because other than that, what does Congress do? Nothing.
Since you said 2 things, what else he done for black people? What else?
Okay, we have the like I said, black unemployment was at a historic low.
Actually, you know, black unemployment fell lower under Biden than Trump.
Well, you
also know that black male unemployment hit its lowest point in April under Biden than it did in history.
Okay, well, I can tell you.
I'm just telling you.
No, I can tell you it was lower than it was under Obama. And that's no shot at Obama.
I'm confused. Obama not on the ballot. Again, the black unemployment rate.
Right, because we love to praise Obama.
I didn't bring up Obama.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We got to keep it real. We got to stop operating from emotion, and we got to stop operating from intelligence and logic. That's all I'm saying. If we want to compete with the rest of the world.
Mark, the total unemployment rate has been lower under Biden than Trump. The black unemployment rate has been lower under Biden than Trump. So how is Trump better for black people?
So like I said.
What else?
Compared to his predecessor.
No, what else?
Okay, what else? Okay, so other than the HBCU 10-year bill expansion.
Okay, but again, though.
The First Step Act, which reduced the federal prison population. You didn't want to let me get that out, did you?
That Democrats passed in the House. The Democrats approved in the Senate.
And that Donald Trump signed off on.
Wait a minute. Mark, you do know that Reagan opposed the King holiday. It ain't like we crediting Reagan for the King holiday.
Unemployment at a historic low.
Mark,
like I said, the economy was booming. You asked a lot of black people, they tell you they was doing good under Trump.
I'm still confused.
They tell you they was doing real good. And like I said, I wasn't paying $10 for eggs and $5 for gas.
First of all, if the black unemployment is lower under Biden than it was under Trump, how was it better?
Say that again?
The black unemployment has gone lower under Biden-Harris than it did under Trump.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, because you know why? Because black people are the most intelligent people in the world, man to man. And they had to, like we always do.
What in the hell are you talking about?
I'm going to explain to you. They have to pull themselves up by the bootstrap and make shit happen. You heard of the Great Migration? You know what that is?
Yeah. Who led it?
Okay. The black
Who led it?
The blacks who said, screw this.
No, actually, that's not. Actually, there's a guy on the wall who ran the Chicago Defender.
Let me finish. And you know what? You want to know what assisted that? You ever heard of the Platinum Plan? Do you know what that is?
Wait a minute. Hold on, stop.
No. Let me finish. No. Just let me finish.
Trump Platinum Plan
do you know what
created the Great Migration?
No. What I'm saying is,
I'm confused.
I didn't say that.
The Great Migration was in the 1930s and 40s.
No. Excuse me. I meant the Great Resignation. I apologize. When all black people in droves was like, screw this.
The Platinum Plan. What was the Platinum Plan?
Okay, so the Platinum Plan.
What was that?
It increased income in black businesses.
No, it didn't.
And
the Platinum Plan was a proposal. It never actually got enacted.
What I'm saying is added capital to the black entrepreneur.
No, it didn't.
And
it didn't.
Also promoted and touted Juneteenth as a national holiday. So
Juneteenth
was part of the Platinum Plan.
Are you out of your mind? Juneteenth would have been a national holiday if Senator Rand Paul did not object to unanimous consent. Oh my God. Are you just sitting here just making shit up?
You're asking me about Trump.
No, you're making stuff up.
Questions. And now you're throwing in Rand Paul and
I'm throwing in facts.
You're asking me questions and I'm answering them.
No, you're not answering. What you're doing is you're doing what Trump is doing. You're just making shit up.
So there's no dude,
the Platinum Plan was a plan. It was never enacted.
Exactly. I know.
And he also said.
I know that.
And Trump said,
you know why it wasn't enacted?
Why?
because of the black drove of people who went and got this guy elected.
No, actually,
the droves of blacks who were stuck
first of all,
on
the plan
Democratic Party.
The plan was a joke because
to get this guy elected.
The plan was a joke because it specifically said it was going to do what? $500 billion in contracts? Let me ask you this question. How much the total amount of contracts the federal government gives out every year?
Okay, so
Mark, I'm asking you a question. What's the total amount of contracts the federal government gives out every year?
I don't know.
It's $560 billion. So you trying to tell me that the total amount of contracts the federal government awards every year to everybody is $560 billion, and Trump was going to award $500 billion of black people? Are you literally out of your mind?
So, like I was saying,
answer the question.
Now, opportunity zones.
Oh my God.
Also, a low-income community incentivized plan. That
I call the Trump White House. Nice try, Mark. I call the Trump White House.
It was proposed to revitalize the inner cities by giving business owners, developers, and property owners.
And guess what, Mark? I had a pastor.
Tax breaks.
Mark, let me help you out.
Capital gains.
Let me help you out, Mark.
To pump life into our dead economies and cities.
I don't know what the hell you read.
No.
But bruh,
that's what it is.
You are literally.
That's what opportunity zone is, Roland.
Mark, this ain't gonna go on much longer, because right now, dude, you just making shit up. I literally.
Did he not sign into law?
Mark, listen.
The first and only new historic park in Martin Luther King Jr.'s name in Georgia.
Are you out of your?
Okay, so then.
Oh my God.
He did not sign into law and create a new historic park in Georgia in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't do that, Roland.
You literally say, let's support Trump because a park was created?
No. You're asking me. No, see, this is the problem. No.
I noticed how you skipped over that platinum plan.
This is the problem.
Mark, I noticed how you skipped over those contracts.
The narratives that people believe and buy into instead of creating their own narratives.
I noticed
that's
how
what
you
I'm doing.
Over the
I'm creating a narrative.
No, actually,
like I did with myself.
What you're creating,
because I no longer choose to be defined by you, by the news, by print, by media, or by my neighbor. Okay. I define myself.
Mark, here's the deal. Everything you just laid out. When I say you are so wrong, when I say you're factually wrong, when I say you can't, and then when you get hit with facts, you want to hopscotch on to the next thing. I brought up contracts, and I gave you the number of federal contracts. Trump said, I'm going to do $500 billion with black people. It's only $560 billion total in federal contracts. That was a flat-out lie. You fell for the okie doke. And so I walk you through. You're touting this $90 million HBCU plan.
He said he's going to. He said what? He's going to do $500 billion.
That was the platinum plan. Mm-hmm. He was going to do $500 billion to black businesses when the federal government only spends $560 billion total for everything. So how in the hell is, if the federal government is spending $560 billion total, he just going to go, I'm going to give $500 billion to black people?
I can tell you what, I didn't hear that. I never heard. I'm not.
You didn't hear it?
No, listen. I didn't hear him say I'm going to, because
it's it's in the plan.
Okay.
The plan that you brought up. The platinum plan.
Now, if he said that he's going to give $580 billion.
No, he says $500 billion.
$500 billion to invest in black people, right?
Where's it coming from?
That's a good question.
You damn right, it's a good question.
And now, like,
and it ain't coming from the federal government.
What I'm saying is, like, with a lot of things,
he made shit up.
I can't speak for him. I can't
you can't speak for him.
No, I can't. I can't speak for him.
Oh my God.
I can't speak for you. I can tell you, based on facts. What I know, experience,
you literally
what I read and see,
have not recited any facts.
And historical sources, empirical evidence, what the facts are. That's what I can do. I can't speak for him.
Mark, I feel for you, brother. I know you've gone down some rabbit holes, but listen, you ain't cited any facts. You haven't cited any of that. What you've thrown is stuff out that's easily disproven. Easily.
Let me say something, Roland.
Okay, final comment. Because I got to go to my black lawyers next. Because we're fighting these Trump federal judges who want to get rid of the Voting Rights Act. But go ahead.
It's important to understand that, most importantly...
Oh, my bad. I need to put on some Marvin Gaye because this is some bullshit. But go right ahead.
Most importantly, we're trying to pivot off of the Democratic plantation. We're trying to make a pivot from this hold.
How about you pivot to facts?
This hold
How about you pivot to facts?
that this party has on my people.
How about you pivot to facts?
That's so destructive to my people
How about
and my
you
community.
pivot to facts?
That's what I pivot to.
You literally-
Now, if Trump is the alternative.
No, he's
and
not.
Hey, I support him.
Dude, you literally
That's the most
you
important
literally
thing.
called the January 6 people dissenters when they were domestic terrorists.
I said what? Say that again?
You have been quoted as calling the January 6 folks dissenters when they actually are domestic terrorists.
Well, listen,
You support them?
I stand in solidarity with any American brother or sister, like I said from the very beginning.
You
going
stand in
through hard
solidarity with the
times.
Oath Keepers?
That's going through hard
Do you
times.
stand in solidarity with the Oath
Suffering.
Keepers? Mark,
That's because
do
I don't
you
take no
stand in
pleasure in any
solidarity with-
American brother.
Mark,
Listen, this
Mark,
is the thing.
I'm asking you a question.
I know how
Do
people
you
feel.
stand
And
in solidarity with the Oath Keepers?
Listen,
Yes or no?
I have empathy for black people, right? Because how do you think
you
I feel in my
stand in solidarity
community?
with the Proud
I have
Boys?
been castigated throughout my community and
Say
family
dog.
and friends. So here's the
Okay.
thing. But I know how they feel. I understand.
Mark,
and guess what? Because they hate Trump. But guess what? There's no future in that. There's no future in that. I know how you feel.
No, ain't no future in this country if that lying, narcissistic insurrection is allowed back in. You literally have called the January 6 people dissenters. These are people who were domestic terrorists. These are people who were angry that black people voted. Donald Trump kept trashing black people when he would say Atlanta, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Detroit. You had a Republican. I'm not done.
You're making such
Mark,
a broad stroke.
No, I'm not.
That's like they did at BLM in the summer of love. Every BLM
Donald
supporter
Trump
is a
literally
rioter
said-
and a looter
Donald
and
Trump
an
literally
anarchist.
said, okay.
It's the same thing.
So you think the people who've been convicted, they should be let free?
No, I think that there's a justice system, and I think they're going through the course like all my
there's
people
a
had to.
justice system.
Like all my people had to. Doesn't make it right or moral.
There's a justice system.
I believe it was a setup.
And
I believe it could have been stopped. It could have been
it was a
prevented.
setup.
Of course. You think we would have got that far?
So January
Of course
6th
not,
was a
Roland.
setup.
Of course it was.
Okay.
They could have stopped that like
Okay.
that. That
Gotcha.
could have never happened. But why? It wasn't a good look.
Well,
for them
guess
to
what?
stop
You
it.
couldn't stop it when Donald Trump wouldn't
It
allow the
wasn't a
National
good
Guard to
look.
become
So now
out.
they're handing out cases like Halloween candy, and you don't see a problem with that. You get 20, you get 20, you get 20.
Hey,
okay,
let me
you
be
guys,
real clear.
okay, you stay in your comfortable,
Mark,
you know.
I'm going to be on record. I got
zones.
no problem with the racist Oath Keepers and the
Opportunity
Proud
zones.
Boys going to jail. Yep, there you go, trying to change something. All right.
No. Hey, listen. Like I said, I take no pleasure in any suffering.
Mark, last point here.
Period.
Is I got some lawyers waiting. Here's the whole deal. I'm going to give this last one, since you keep yelling opportunity zones. The black pastor.
No, I'm saying that people. I'm saying that the bourgeois class.
Mark, I want you to
that's
listen.
so comfortable.
No, I want you to listen.
They don't want to see anything change,
Mark,
even if that means shitting on the average
Mark,
black
let
person.
me say it again.
They don't want to see it happen because that messes with their comfort.
I'm going to give you a fact.
That's why I have a problem with. My own people.
Mark, I'm going to give you a fact.
Gave me no support when I started my organization. I didn't get an iota of support from them.
Mark, you in Rhode Island. It's
for the
3
same
black
people I'm fighting for. But it doesn't matter if it's one.
Is Jeffrey?
That's not even the point.
Listen, we
for the same people I'm fighting for. I come here and all the black people tell me you need to drop BLM.
No.
Because you know what? They're doing too well here.
When you come here,
they can't relate to that.
When you come here,
they can't understand what the plight is of black people outside of the DMV.
Mark,
so they tell me drop that.
Mark, when you come
I say,
here,
no, guess
we
what?
deal in facts.
Now I say I support, all people are suffering. Oh, now they don't want to have Thanksgiving with me. Now they want to castigate me and offend me. So, okay, you know what?
This is what I find to be
That's
funny.
what I'm dealing with in my community.
This is what I find to be funny.
But I still love my people anyway.
This is what I find to be funny. I'm going to leave it on this one here. You kept mentioning.
I love them anyways,
No,
Roland.
you kept mentioning.
I still go to war.
Mark,
I still go to bat for
I'm going to close this out.
Because black is beautiful.
I'm going to close this out. You kept mentioning opportunity zones. The black pastor from Baltimore who spoke with Trump at the White House when that was announced came on this show that night. 6 months later, he came on this same show and he said it has been an abysmal failure. What are you talking about? What pastor? The black pastor from Baltimore who spoke. Go look it up.
What's his name?
He was on this show.
What's his
name? Mark, you can go pull it up.
I'm asking you, what's his name?
Mark, I'll pull his name up, but this is real simple, brother.
Please.
It's real simple.
I want to know who you're
It's real
talking about.
simple. If you're going to run around spouting stuff, bruh, have some facts. Double check some stuff.
Can I tell you something?
Your stuff is so easily
Roland,
disproven.
this is what
it's unbelievable.
Let me 30
seconds.
Let me drop some knowledge real quick.
You ain't dropped no knowledge.
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you.
What you gonna drop?
This is what y'all don't understand. People don't care about the facts. You know what they care about? Perception. because that's 9/10 of reality.
And guess what?
This is what I'm trying to explain. You're so concerned with the facts.
Wow.
I'm concerned with the narrative.
I'm so concerned with the facts.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You know what?
Why?
I'm not saying don't be concerned, but don't be overly concerned with them.
Hold on,
because while you're so concerned and beating up on the facts, guess what? People are leaving in droves and they're disavowing the Democrats and they're endorsing Donald Trump right under your nose.
So what you're saying is, Roland, don't tell the truth. Be like Trump and lie. Okay.
Right under your nose.
All right. That's a good one to close out on. Mark, we'll see what happens, but I can tell you right now, anytime somebody come on this show, lies will be countered every time. Facts will always be spoken, and you can keep your Trump perception, but I don't live in perception or conspiracy land. I live in what's factual. You look back on 4 years of News One now, time for one of my classic clapbacks. In August, Paula White and Jim Baker had the nerve to call Donald Trump a man of God who is under siege from evil forces. You know, I had to respond. Oh, let me address you, Pastor Paula White. I'm going to take you to 1 Samuel 10, verse 17, when Samuel called the people and said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought Israel up out of Egypt. I delivered you from the power of Egypt and all the kingdoms that oppressed you. But you have now rejected your God who saves you out of all your disasters and calamities. And you have said, no, appoint a king over us. So now present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and clans." See, that's when the prophet Samuel then anointed Saul, because the people wanted a king. Here's what we know, Pastor Paula White. The people of America rejected God. They rejected a godly man. You had the audacity to say, how can anybody withstand what Donald Trump has gone through? How about 8 years what President Barack Obama went through, when the same person who you praise questioned his Christianity, questioned his faith, dared present the birther movement as somehow he was not a full American? That was an outright lie, but you stood with that man, the same man who said he grabbed women by the vagina, the same man who said he would force himself upon women to kiss them when he wanted to, the same man who chastised Senator John McCain, who was a POW, the same man who chastised Mexicans, calling them rapists and calling them criminals, the same man who is not shown at all how to act like, sound like, or be a Christian. Oh, how dare you say that, when the same man you praise and say to pray for said he has seen no reason in his life where he should somehow ask for forgiveness, when we know doggone well the moment of being a Christian is when you have to ask for forgiveness. You have to ask for grace. See, it was Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German theologian, Pastor Paula White, who called this cheap grace. As when people commit sin, ask for God's forgiveness, and then go out and do it again. Here's the reality, Pastor Paula White. We are going to pray for this president because we have evil in the White House. We have somebody who wants to attack people of color, somebody who wants to attack the poor, somebody who wants to attack Muslims, who wants to break up families. You dare say nobody else has come under this kind of attack? Oh, please explain to me why so many conservative white evangelicals like yourself have been quiet. Tell me why y'all excuse his comments about Charlottesville, where he essentially aligned himself with neo-Nazis and white supremacists. You pastor a church in Orlando, Florida, that Zachary Timms used to pastor, but before he died, as largely an African-American church. I want you to stand in front of them and tell them why in the world they must stand in support with Donald Trump when he is trying to take away their right to vote, when he has a sham voter fraud panel. You tell me how that is Christian. You tell me what is Christian about trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, where people who are sick, disenfranchised, will be thrown off and not have health care. Please show me in your Bible where that's somehow a Christian principle. I dare say this, Pastor Paula White, you are supposed to be a prophet, Prophet, not Profit. God calls for the prophetic to stand up, to question people in power, to challenge them. Because let me remind you, it was the prophet Samuel who went to Saul and told him he was doing wrong, who said that you have went against the commandments of God. Let me remind you, Pastor Paula White, it was the prophet Nathan who went to David and said, you sinned against God by laying with Bathsheba. What we need, Pastor Paula White, are not people who wave their Bible trying to get conservative Supreme Court justices. What we need are people who are going to to actually follow that Bible. I suggest you call Reverend Dr. William Barber to have a conversation about what it means to actually be a prophetic voice in the 21st century. I suggest you go read Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail, where he was talking to folks just like you who were saying black folks are pushing too much. And I dare say you use a prophetic voice to look Donald Trump in the eye and say it's time for you to stop acting like a grown child and to act like a man, to respect the office of the presidency. What I expect, Pastor Paula White, somebody who has been raised up, who has been built up by virtue of talking and preaching in black churches, to have an understanding of what black folks are going through. So you want us to pray for the president? Oh, we're going to pray for the president. We're going to pray for the country, because the country asked for a king. The country turned their back on God, and now God said, I'm going to give you the desires of your heart, which always ain't good. Pastor Paula White, we got a word for you, and that is be a prophetic voice and don't just be a profitable voice. All right, y'all. So you see my Shelly, go to my iPad. This is what the back of my shirt says. Hashtag bring the funk. Greg Carr, you were here that day.
Brother, we needed an organ in here. that was some C.L. Franklin stuff right there, brother. When the great sir, and people ask me all the time, is Roland reading from a paper?
No, he's just riffing.
Them Bible verses is in his head.
No, that was on the top of my head.
Look, man, Stanley says...
It was amazing, but I'm gonna tell you, what kept going through my mind was, it's good that he's educating the audience, but Paula White don't care.
No, but here's the deal, though. No. Trust me. Paula White got wind of that commentary.
I'm sure she did.
No, and Paula White emailed me.
Did she?
She was out of the country, and she said my stuff was taken out of the context. We got to talk when we get back. And I emailed her back, and I said, let me know anytime. And then I hit her back about a month ago saying, when are you, after the Washington Post did that big story on her saying how she's in D.C. every week. I said, oh, please let me know when we're going to sit down and talk. And she said, I'll be giving you a call. It has not happened. Oh, but trust me, it got her attention.
Well,
listen, I'm not surprised.
Okay, let me just say this. Of course, are you kidding? Of course it got her attention. It's too powerful not to get her. It got the birds' attention. My point is that she don't care. And that's why you haven't heard from her.
Well, actually, she does care, because she has already been in some serious hot water for offending African Americans and people of color. And that video, I know, went viral.
They've lost members, they've lost ties.
And she has a huge constituency, right? I mean, so listen, before her last incident, I was a patron of Paula White. So no, she does care, and I'm sure she's gonna follow up with you. But aside from that,
she does.
I need my prayer cloth.
Girl, you silly.
Okay, because listen, you were preaching.
Well, I just had a couple things to say. Just a couple things to say.
Appreciate the good
like
word.
I say, I was a little hot. And Greg is right. I don't write these commentaries, y'all. So if I see something, it's kind of like, give me a few minutes. Is not doing it in Mississippi. And so what I'm saying is this here. No. What I'm saying is this here. When I listen to Republicans talk about being pro-life, what I want to know is where their pro-life stances when it comes to Head Start. Right. Where their pro-life stances when it comes to prenatal care. Right. Where their pro-life stances when you have black women who have a high rate of dying in childbirth. Where are your pro-life policies when it comes to infant mortality? What I'm saying is when you are a Republican in the state of Mississippi and you push a law and the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade and you are ill prepared to handle the 5,000 new babies, maybe because the money that you could care for the poor went to Brett Favre.
That's right.
And all I want to see is the governor of Mississippi, who's opposing Medicaid expansion, seeing rural hospitals shut down in his state, and you got white women and black women who are dying, and Republicans control the legislature. Yep. They control the governor's mansion, so don't tell me they are pro-life when they are unwilling to accept Medicaid expansion, but then they say we don't want to accept money from the federal government when they send $1 to the federal government and they get $4 back.
When you look at this concept, what you're saying to me right now is that because you believe that Republicans are not supporting pro-living, I disagree. I look at the Republican support for community health centers. I look at the Republicans trying Where? Everywhere, Roland.
South Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama. Exactly. They all are against Medicaid expansion and
rural
hospitals.
Roland,
Are you telling me rural hospitals? Are you literally telling me that rural hospitals in Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina are not shutting down? Are you actually telling me that?
I am not telling you that. But
so
what
therefore,
I am saying,
if they're shutting down, how then are the people able to get care? How?
Roland, what I am saying is that there are, when we talk about aborting babies, like, so you're saying to me that because we support life, actually giving babies the opportunity to live, I'm confused.
Baby born.
I'm so confused.
No. First of all, hold up. You're confused because you think I'm saying something that I'm not.
Well, tell me what you're saying.
What I'm telling you, I'm being very clear. You cannot say you are pro-life when you vote against prenatal care for the mother. You cannot say you are pro-life when you vote against Head Start. Right. You cannot say you are pro-life when you do not want to expand Medicaid to keep hospitals open. You cannot say you are pro-life when you have OBGYNs who are not available in your state. You cannot say you are pro-life when you have black women who are dying at a higher rate during childbirth and you do nothing public policy-wise to fix it. You cannot say you are pro-life if you allow infant mortality rates to be sky high in areas where there are black and brown people. What that tells me is you are anti-abortion. You are not pro-life. Right. Because if you are pro-life, you care about the child in the womb and when the child is out. And if you are pro-life, you are standing there with black folks when their kids are killed by cops. You are not silent. So if you are pro-life, be pro-life from the womb to the tomb, but not just in the womb.
Okay, and so Roland, what I say is that I am pro-life.
No, you are.
No,
but not Governor Tate Reeves, not Governor Lee of Tennessee, not the Republican legislature in North Carolina, not Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, not Governor Kemp in Georgia. No, here's the deal though.
Okay,
you
let
are.
me ask you this.
But show me where your Republican politicians are pro-life in their policies.
Let me ask you this.
You know what I am? I'm pro-black, and I'm going to call out anybody who call themselves pro-life, but their policies are not.
And I am pro-life. Let me ask you this. Are you?
Call your party.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Call your party.
Can I ask you this?
Call your party.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Call your party.
Can I ask you this?
Go ahead.
Are you pro-life?
I'm pro-life when that black person is killed, and when a Republican.
So let me ask you this.
No.
Right.
When a Republican says nothing when somebody is gunned down.
Don't use extremes. Republicans do say things when people are gunned down. No, Roland, you can't do that.
No, they don't.
Roland, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry. Those are the same folks who send out MLK quotes on MLK Day.
Oh my goodness.
But will not support MLK's
Is my mic
agenda.
on? Can you hear me? Okay, so Roland. No, Roland.
You can try this all you want to, Tina, but you know the record is clear.
Oh my goodness.
Your party refuses to accept affordable care.
Can I ask a couple?
Come on,
we're going to talk about the State of the Union, I suppose, but can I ask a couple of questions about
and every single one of those Republicans stood up for Tyree Nichols' family.
I don't know how this is dialogue.
For police reform.
I don't know how this is dialogue.
No, Dina.
Okay,
Dina,
no.
Uvalde.
Okay, can
I mean, when we got a massive shooting, I don't hear any Republicans talking about a gun. You know, they're wearing their guns on their lapels. Dina, is that pro-life? Is that pro-life?
I think that is pro-2A, but let me.
I'm sorry. What's that?
McCarthy clearly deceived.
What I want to. What I want to say, no one's. I have a chance. First of all, I want to have a conversation about if Republicans are not. No, Roland, you haven't given me a chance.
Are we gonna have a conversation?
Oh my goodness! If this is actually going to give me a chance to speak, then I will speak.
You can ask me about being pro-life, about being pro-choice.
Oh my goodness!
What I know is fact.
Oh my goodness!
As a native Texan, what I see from Governor Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, the Republican legislature, what I see are folks who are pushing anti-abortion bills, not pro-life bills. Because if you telling me you pro-life, you better be pro-life in a whole bunch of areas beyond a woman's uterus. That's the point. That's the point.
And when you look at
Exactly.
ahead.
They're not pro-life, they're pro-controlling women. That's what it
Okay.
Or forced birth. I was at HHS when the Affordable Care Act was passed. I worked on implementation. Medicaid expansion was up, and no Republican would expand it. Here we are in 2023. That was 2010. 13 years have gone by.
Republicans have consistently voted to expand support for community health.
Hold on, wait,
This is
Dina,
Roland. No.
I'm coming back to you.
Oh my
I want
goodness.
her to finish.
Okay.
Because she actually worked there.
Okay.
Finish your point. Since you worked there. Hold on, Bill. Finish your point.
I don't understand how this.
I'm going to let the person who worked there tell us what happened when she worked there.
I worked in environmental affairs with the governors. There was full resistance from Republican governors to expand Medicaid. And to your point earlier, they actually got money from us to expand health services in primarily red states. They wouldn't take it because they didn't want to be known as taking money from President Barack Obama. So if you can say, you're going to say you're pro-life, but you're going to let your community health centers fall, you're going to let women die, forcing them to give birth, drugs are going up, and you just didn't care. Now, they tried to make it a partisan issue, but it was about health care. And to your point earlier, the Affordable Care Act actually did benefit half those people in that audience.
Right. And Republicans have consistently...
It helped primarily black people get access to health care.
Okay, Bill and Dina. Bill and Dina.
Okay.
You're going to talk, Dina. Dina, you're going to talk.
Okay.
But Bill's going to talk.
But they went further. The act also said the states, will set up exchanges so that people can buy health care. A Republican idea that people are supposed to buy their own.
Massachusetts by Republican governors, correct.
They refused to set up
to do
the
it.
exchanges.
Yes.
So the exchanges had to be set up by you.
Yes, which was also difficult, as you all may remember. But we recovered. And then the issue was, it was considered, what was the word that they would say? Like, it was weird. It wasn't, it wasn't real healthcare. It was fake plans. And they did that with red states and states out west with many Latinos who needed healthcare as well. And it was very interesting how up here in the Northeast, we all had healthcare. We had really good plans to choose from. When you went south, you didn't. And our people continue to suffer. Republican governors just turned away. And we tried our best to make sure we got people enrolled in health insurance.
And this is one of the points Biden mentioned tonight in his speech.
He did.
Republicans have consistently been in support of expanding support to community health centers. So you're saying that when you were at HHS...
Absolutely not. When Barack Obama was president, they wouldn't do anything Barack Obama wanted to do. Are you kidding?
Republicans... So legislation to support community health centers was
that was a key part of the act.
Okay, well...
A key part of the act were the community health centers, and I was at the Department of Labor at the time, and a key component was to train people for those health centers, and including training people. This was in the law.
Okay.
We worked on this.
Hold on, I'm confused.
Let me just say this.
I'm confused. I'm confused. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm confused to have two people
that were there.
They were there. And you saying that ain't true.
I am as well. I'm confused as well.
Last point. So, to your question about, or your statement about Republicans caring. So when we left, when Obama left office, when our administration left, there were many people in our departments that were specifically designed to implement the Affordable Care Act. They all had to get removed. They all moved to different offices. And many of my friends, people who are career, when Trump came in, yes, sorry, thank you, I did not make that point. When Trump came in, we don't need to continue that work.
And remember, they stopped even advertising, signing up for the Affordable Care Act.
Yes, it was very low key, and my former colleagues and friends, they were miserable because they couldn't actually do the work that they were brought in to do.
So if they're telling you they turned the money down for Medicaid expansion, they turned the money down for community health centers, what are you talking about that GOP supports it? Is it in utopia?
No, I'm talking about very specifically, and this is what, I don't want to speak to things that you clearly worked there and you have an expertise and a knowledge that I don't have. But what I will say is that what I want to understand, and we will post this because we're Black Press as well. So at bpalivewire.com, I respect you, and you clearly you've worked there. But what I want to understand is when Republicans made these overtures to not accept this money, I want to understand, because we always have areas where you accept it and something else. Like, we want to make sure that there's a standalone, that Republicans can support community health centers without the stipulations. And I don't so all of these, I don't know. So all these years that I have been even as I sit and meet with legislators and they talk about the 13,000 community health centers that are championed, instead of organizations like Planned Parenthood, give the money to community health centers. So if I have been Planned Parenthood is not.
Planned Parenthood is a community health center.
Planned Parenthood is a community
service they provide, but they do health screenings. They do.
But the greatest proportion. No, wait a minute, Roland. You're gonna have to Roland. But you had okay.
Hold up.
You okay,
Now let's be real clear.
This is your show. I get it.
Let's be real clear. I am not the one to say no to.
Okay.
Now I'm letting different folks talk, but never tell me no. So when you're talking about community centers, okay?
I can understand.
You were speaking about, which is totally different than what she's talking about, and again, we're talking about what Bill is talking about. The resources that were in there. When you say, oh, we don't want stipulations, that's the whole point. So what you're trying to say is, oh, just give us that little piece we want right there and nothing else. But here's the reality. That ain't how Congress operates. The reality is, this is not the unrestricted funds of COVID, like Biden talked about. This is looking at the health of the people in that state holistically and universally, and not just what y'all like.
Dina, let's get real. The Republican Party was against the Affordable Care Act.
Period.
Well, of course.
We want to play these
No,
games.
I'm not going to say that. Who, did I ever say that they were not?
And we saw tonight, they are against lowering prescription drugs.
I never said that the Republicans.
Get back to the big point about pro-life, pro-choice, and pro-life and pro-health. I mean, how is that pro-life?
But let's deal with this here. Back about tonight. Again, explain to me. I still want to know. Why is the Republican Party against lowering prescription drugs?
I don't think that the Republican Party is against lowering prescription drugs. I think that the question is, how are we going to pay for it?
Right. But this is a great point.
Again,
This is the great point.
Greg.
I'm just going to say this real quick. He was speaking there tonight, but he's really putting in the clips for the war over the next 24 months. Let me be very specific.
Right.
When he first, and me and Eric were laughing about this, whoever wrote that section in there on those junk fees needs a raise.
Yeah.
See, what's going to happen is, imagine this, there's going to be a 2-minute ad with people frustrated at the airport checkout line, with people looking at their cable bill, because he don't know a damn thing about paying no cable bill. But he's talking to very targeted, it's almost like micro-targeting voters. He didn't spend a lot of time on the culture wars, abortion and all that, because that's not going to poll well. But what he seeded in there, the class warfare he snuck in there, when it comes to quadrupling the taxes on the stock buybacks, was for a commercial on rising gas prices. Because they're going to see somebody at the pump, somebody word, and then Joe Biden's voice going to come in and say that I am going to tax the people who he's giving
$200 billion in profit.
Exactly. He's making commercials. Finally, I'll end with this, because it was a speech, but most people don't watch this. When they're not into policy like this, they're going to watch the commercials that come out over the next 12 months. I'll end with this. I think it's very important. The dignity of work. He kept coming back with that. Who he's talking to is the people who are going to vote. The reason that he's not trying to expand the base now, because Joe Biden and his advisors know very clearly that most people in this country have checked out. They are micro-targeting to win primaries, to win the general election. And guess what? He did not say a word about how he's going to pay for it in terms of dollars.
No, he did. No, but he did.
But I'm saying, go ahead,
but he did.
Explain that, because I was about to say.
Wait. I'm going to
But let the economist tell it.
I'm going to break. We come back. Bill, you're going to explain that part about how he said he's going to pay for it. I know that Cliff Albright, Reddit Hudson, Tiffany Lofton, we got them on as well. We're going to talk about, again, the police reform aspect of it, the most emotional moment of the night when he introduced Tyree Nichols' family. So a lot more to cover it. I told y'all, Jake Tapper can't do this. No. Rachel Maddow them, they ain't having this conversation. And so this the conversation that we all had growing up in black families where we kept it real and we kept it honest. But here's the deal, because my grandparents taught me, bring your ass to the conversation, start lying, you're gonna get eaten up. So they told us, don't come in here selling wolf tickets because it ain't gonna play. All these white journalists, like Howard Kurtz earlier, Malik was like, well, you know, journalists need to be very careful saying that it was racist because Trump issued denial. Like his ass don't lie. I'm like
10,000 confirmed
I'm like,
lies.
he known to lie. You acting like, oh, well, he issued denial, so I should take into account his denial.
Yeah, well, I don't think that Donald Trump is a racist, and I don't think that the people who voted for him think that he was a racist. I voted.
You know his ass a racist.
I voted for him.
Malik, you know damn well he a racist.
I voted for him, and I don't think that Donald Trump.
Do you intend to vote for him again?
In 2020, absolutely, without a doubt.
So you voting for a racist?
Well, you know,
was his comment racist? Hold up, was this comment racist?
It was definitely racially offensive.
What the hell is that?
What
the hell is that?
What's the difference?
It's the same thing. That's
what the hell is that?
Yeah, can you tell me the difference between racially offensive and racist?
Well, he said things that were racially offensive.
But what's the difference?
I'm sorry, or insensitive, or whatever you want to say.
Okay, but I'm just asking, what's the distinction between racist and racially offensive?
Well, I think that when we start, I think it's possible for someone to say racially offensive, homophobic things and not be actually homophobic or racist.
Okay, but if you said racist things a number of times,
several times,
like
when do you become
a number of times?
Well, if we're talking about the system of racism, I mean, we really should, you know, we could have a broader discussion of what that system.
No, we're actually no. Stop. We ain't discussing the system of racism.
I know, I'm sure all of us know, and that's why the same comments, you know, the things that I said on this show before, you know, the things that Louis Farrakhan has said that were anti-Semitic, you know.
We're gonna go with Louis Farrakhan.
Is Louis Farrakhan president of the United States?
It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter.
But it doesn't matter.
It does matter
about things that we have accepted.
Is Louis Farrakhan over the U.S. military? Does Louis Farrakhan have the nuclear codes? Does Louis Farrakhan? No, come on.
Louis Farrakhan gets to sit on stage alongside.
Hell no. Hell no. No. We are not about to flip.
Well, of course.
No, we ain't gonna flip this to Louis Farrakhan. We are talking about the person.
But he said homophobic.
This man is the standard bearer of your party. This man leads your party. This man controls your party. So here's my point.
I've never voted for Louis Farrakhan on anything because he's not a balanced.
But I know many of us who've actually supported.
Nice try. First of all,
voting for and supporting.
We ain't even going down the Farrakhan rabbit hole because it don't work.
It's not a rabbit hole.
No, it is a rabbit hole because you want us to chase.
No,
this is the question, Malik. This is the question, Malik.
You asked me.
You said racially charged.
And I said,
what the hell was it? What is that? Racially charged? Is that what it was?
How many racist statements before you become racist? That's my question.
Well, for me, it's hard to conceive someone being racist pursuing the policies that he's pursuing
like what?
that are beneficial to black and brown
like
people.
What?
Personally. So we're talking about the criminal justice reform package. We're talking
Let me ask you a question. No, wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Who instituted affirmative action? Who was that under?
Oh, I don't remember.
Richard Nixon.
Okay.
Who ran on the Southern Strategy?
Was that Nixon?
Nixon.
Yeah.
Who also launched the war on drugs where one of his own advisors, his notes revealed that it was specifically targeted at black people?
That was Nixon.
Richard Nixon. Who used the N-word himself? Who degraded black people in recordings in Oval Office? Richard Nixon. So the shit don't mean nothing about affirmative action if his other actions were also race-based. So to say that, oh, well, first of all, the First Step Act, let me be clear. The First Step Act ain't an act for black people. It's an act for anybody.
Well, it's part of a criminal justice reform package. And so if we're judging him by the same standard that Obama and any other president.
So his immigration policy helps black and brown people?
Well, you mean black people who are here?
Black and brown people? You're saying that his immigration policy, TPS, sending Haitians back to a place that was violent and where they had
Well, no, I don't.
Hold on.
I
Not
don't-
just Haitians.
I don't
also
think that our
trying to
immigration
cut the rug underneath from Liberians who were in this country, calling those countries shithole countries, making it clear that he wanted more visas for white
But I
immigrants.
don't think the immigration
So I understand you disagree with that. No one's calling you a racist.
I don't think the
My question
immigration
is,
policies are racist.
when does someone become racist? If they made several racially offensive statements, you know, when honestly, it's like if you cheat on your girlfriend once, when do you become a cheater? If you've cheated 17 times. You know,
Well,
when can we call a spade a spade? That's my question.
You can, but I think we use.
Okay, so he's a racist.
But
do we agree?
But no, we don't agree. And I don't agree with the comments that John Lewis said, because John Lewis also said similar comments about John McCain. And of course, we're
Say
not
what?
gonna- Well,
Hold on, say what?
You don't remember the comments that John Lewis
What did he say?
He said that voting for John McCain would take us back to the days of George Wallace standing in the schoolhouse door.
And he what line?
So now,
if you are advancing policies, if you are advancing voter suppression policies, you're taking us back to George Wallace Day.
Was that what John?
Yeah, okay.
Is that what John?
Nice try.
Was doing?
Nice try, Malik.
Because he said the same thing about Mitt Romney.
Nice try, but this is real simple. You voted for a racist.
Yeah, and
you're going to vote for a racist
I'm
again.
going to vote for him in 2020.
Right, and the reality is, what that says is you don't give a damn what he has to say about black people.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, that's what it's revealing.
I'm going to die black. So the fact that you
but you also ain't got a problem with your Mississippi Confederate flag.
But you're not going to challenge my blackness on this show.
No, I'm not. Hold on. I'm not
because you can't tell me what I'm concerned about as a black man. You can't tell me what I'm concerned about as a black man, or I can't be concerned about black people because I'm voting for Donald Trump. So
what I said is you're voting for a racist. That's what you're doing.
Well, that's your opinion.
And that's what you know. That's a fact.
Well, that's your
what
opinion.
you're doing.
That's your opinion, and I just disagree.
So, fact of the matter is,
so yes,
you're voting for a racist. You voted for a racist.
Despite whatever you're
going to still vote for a racist, and that's undeniable. All right, y'all. So, I was on Instagram a little bit early, and I came across this video. And then I watched this video, and I said, I know I am not seeing what I'm seeing. So I need you to play the video I saw on Instagram. I need you to, y'all don't have the video? I sent you the link to, okay, all right, let me play the video myself. Because y'all, I saw this video, when I say I was hot, when I saw it, I said, I can't believe what I'm seeing. This nonsense that I'm seeing from this person right here, posted on Instagram. And I'm like, I know that is not who I think it is, posting what he just posted. And then I looked at it and I said, oh, that is him. I can't believe he posted that video. So let me go ahead and show y'all this, because I want y'all gonna trip. Y'all gonna trip. Watch this video.
Is closing here in the city of Albany, and that leaves us with a little over 500 students that were here on this campus, and 19% of those students are labeled as homeless. We have a little over 250 jobs that'll be leaving the city of Albany. And while this is not the city of Albany government's fault, this is a time for our local and state leadership to step up, because we'd be stupid to act powerless in this situation. Because while this school is still here, while this building is still here, while this campus is still here, what could this become? Could this become a Southwest Georgia regional hub for trade skills training? Could this become something major that the city brings on to start training workforce? Because if we're training workforce, then we can invite industry to come here. But if we don't have any workforce for industry, they'll never come. But if Doherty County School System could train workforce in adults, why can't the city of Albany do the same thing? So my question to leadership is, are we going to allow this opportunity now to pass us by? Or are we going to lead? Are our leaders going to lead? And if they don't want to lead, they need to step aside and let somebody else do it.
Oh, he said that if our leaders are not going to lead, they should step aside and let somebody else do it. That's interesting. Now, when I saw it, I remember when he came on this show after he was going at me on Twitter when he was supporting the Republicans in Georgia voter suppression bill, and he was talking shit with another black conservative. Then they say, well, he ain't gonna never put us on the show. And I invited his ass on the show. Then he tried to change his tune when he came on the show. Roll it. Joining us right now is King Randall One, founder of the X for Boys organization based out of Georgia. So, King, explain why in the world you're conservative, correct?
Yes, sir.
So please explain to me why this bill, why Republicans are pushing for a voter suppression bill when last year we saw record turnout in Georgia, record turnout. So why would they want to restrict voting when you just had record turnout in Georgia?
Well, let me start off by saying you had me mistaken. I'm not a Republican. I do consider myself conservative.
No. Actually, I didn't say Republican. I said you're conservative.
Okay.
I said you're conservative.
Right, absolutely.
That's what I said.
Right. Yeah, I was saying that because you called me a Republican on Twitter. However, with this particular bill, I don't consider voting my particular fight. I do consider voting an asset to us and maybe something we can use as a tactic to help. But as far as us pushing voting all the way out, like voting is going to be some systemic change for the black community, to me is not the way to go. If you look at the human anatomy of the body has its many different parts. And I do respect you guys' fight, in regards to voting, but I don't consider myself fighting for the right to vote that much. Because
do you not vote?
We hadn't got anything.
Do you not vote?
Government. Yes, sir, I vote, absolutely.
Okay, so when you say you guys' fight, first of all, there are multiple fights, there are multiple issues we can be concerned about. Voting is one of those issues. Are you not concerned that Republicans in your state are trying to restrict access to the ballot for no reason other than they are pushing the lie that Donald Trump also pushed?
Right, absolutely. I understand exactly what you're saying. However, again, that's not my fight. I believe.
No. I asked you a question. And the question is this here. Do you believe Republicans in your state are wrong to be pushing this voter suppression bill?
Can you give me the list of things that's all on the bill? Because I know you said the voter ID.
Well, no, here's a perfect example. This particular bill. What was funny is he was defending the voter suppression bill on Twitter, but he didn't think I was going to invite him on the show. So let me tell you what he did. He then posts that video. He edits the video. And then, I'm building this school. Black man should be helping me build my school. And in the same Simple Simon Negroes I called out earlier, they were all like, that's right, Roland Martin, that's a shame. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be supporting this brother at his school. Oh, that's right. Them Negroes were sitting here sending him money. And then what he did is he got on Fox News and Lawrence Jones had him on. Then the white conservatives jumped on him. And so he starts raising money. And so anytime he's mentioned me on Twitter, it was all about raising money. They were after me for 2 years. I was dissing this brother and all sort of stuff along those lines. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And so here you now have King Randall now complaining about a program, jobs being cut, and how that's hurting young folks. And that's interesting because the program that he's speaking about, that very specific program in Albany, Georgia, he's talking about, go to my iPad. This is the story right here. U.S. Department of Labor pauses Job Corps Center operations. So the very program that he is complaining about has been stopped by the Trump Department of Justice. Now, here's what I don't understand. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and play this again. Because, see, I love it when somebody calls out leaders, but they don't really call out the specific leaders who they talking about. So let me just go ahead and play it again, what he had to say, because he was just so incensed that this program was being cut because it was vital to providing jobs for young people. Listen again.
Let's do it. Center Job Corps is closing here in the city of Albany, and that leaves us with a little over 500 students that were here on this campus, and 19% of those students are labeled as homeless. We have a little over 250 jobs that'll be leaving the city of Albany. And while this is not the city of Albany government's fault, this is time for our local and state leadership to step up, because we'd be stupid.
Hold up. He said it's not the city of Albany's fault, and we will be stupid not to step up and lead. Listen.
It's fault. This is a time for our local and state leadership to step up, because we'd be stupid to act powerless in this situation. Because while this school is still here, while this building is still here, while this campus is still here, what could this become? Could this become a Southwest Georgia regional hub for trade skills training? Could this become something major that the city brings on to start training workforce? Because if we're training workforce, then we can invite industry to come here. But if we don't have any workforce for industry, they'll never come. But if Doherty County School System could train workforce in adults, why can't the city of Albany do the same thing? So my question to leadership is, are we going to allow this opportunity now to pass us by, or are we going to lead? Are our leaders going to lead? And if they don't want to lead, they need to step aside and let somebody else do it. The Job Corps is closing here in the city of Albany, and that leaves us with a little over 500 students that were here on this campus. And
here we are. He's complaining about losing the jobs. Okay, that's interesting. And then he says, this ain't city and state leaders' fault, which means that it's somebody else's fault. So, King Randall, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Who's over that particular program? Who controlled the funding? Who made the decision to shut that particular program down? I would like to know that. So I remember seeing a particular photo on social media. And I remember, and I knew, I said, wait a minute. I remember seeing somebody at the White House Christmas party. Go to my iPad. I'm sorry. Is that King Randall? It says new emerging king. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe y'all say, well, that's just a photo. Well, there was another black conservative who posted a video. Can y'all roll that video, please?
This is the White House to celebrate Black History Month, despite the media alleging that it was canceled by President Trump. But like always, fake news. I landed safely thanks to Delta Airlines and time to take a quick shower before throwing on my Sunday's best. Here I'm rocking my Palazzo sports jacket with a black turtleneck and a black Bailey fedora. Soon after this, I ran into my Blexit family on the way to the White House, but I must give a shout out to the guy that made it all happen, Pierre Wilson. He is the real deal, but with moves like this, he's clearly not like us. We were all smiles, waiting in line in this 20-degree weather to get inside to celebrate this momentous occasion because of what it meant to all of us. All I can think about in my head right here is how much I've overcame throughout the years, being open with my conservatism. For some reason, it brings out the worst in people, and I think it's because I refuse to live up to their expectations of me. While I was in the White House, I wasn't quite sure how much I could record, but the security guard reassured me that we had free reign to capture whatever we wanted, so I took full advantage. While I was in the restroom, though, I noticed these napkins with the presidential seal on them, and it almost felt disrespectful to use it and toss it straight into the trash can. They rolled out the red carpet for everyone. We were dressed to the nine, looking good, smelling good, eating good, drinking good, and sounding good. See, the Marine band that was in charge of the music understood the assignment. They were playing everything from Earth, Wind, and Fire all the way down to Sam Cooke, making this a magical time. Everything opened up by a classical version of America the Beautiful, set in the atmosphere. And it was great to be surrounded by so many of my favorite people: Michaela Montgomery, David Harris Jr., Terrence K. Williams.
Go back. Who do y'all see right there on the left? That looked like King Randall. So let me get this straight. King Randall complains about a federal program getting cut that's taking jobs away in his town of Albany, Georgia. He's a self-identified conservative. Don't call me Republican. Okay, fine. But you're standing there smiling and cheesing with the MAGA Negroes, the help. You're at the White House. You supporting Trump, but now you mad and you want local and state officials to fix the problem that Trump created. And in your Instagram video, your ass didn't even mention the word federal. You didn't even say Trump. You didn't even say MAGA. You didn't even say Doge. Now you want folks to step up and fix the problem. What I've been telling y'all? I've been telling y'all the help. That's the black people who are standing with Donald Trump. They claim all black people, y'all on the plantation, y'all on the plantation, Trump is going to be helping us out. And Donald Trump has consistently had policies that have negatively impact people, and these simple Simon Negroes ain't said nothing. Daryl Scott ain't said nothing. Sharice Lane ain't said nothing. Michaela ain't said nothing. Angela Stanton King ain't said nothing. We can go. Joseph Pinion ain't said nothing. Terrence Williams ain't said nothing. David Harris Jr. ain't said nothing. Byron Donalds ain't said nothing. Tim Scott ain't said nothing. Wesley Hunt ain't said nothing. Burgess Owens ain't said nothing. I can go down the line. But now y'all complaining. Trump has sat here and got rid of the settlement to impact the sewage backing up in the yards and the homes of black people in Lowndes County, Alabama. Said nothing. Said nothing about canceling the lawsuit against the petrochemical companies in Cancer Alley in Louisiana, where black people are dying because of that. The help ain't said nothing. So now you want us. Now you want to call on folks to stand up and fix the program. Come on, King Randall. You're supposed to be big and bold. You're supposed to be a big man on campus. Why is it you won't even say Donald Trump? You won't even say MAGA. You know why? Because y'all scared of your daddy. Because y'all scared he not going to invite y'all back to the White House. And see, y'all love talking about, but y'all won't say nothing. Oh, trust me, I lit Obama up on several different things. I did the same thing with Biden. See, I believe in accountability. I don't just sit here and say one thing, but see, they real quiet. All this stuff that's negatively impacted black people, all of them are quiet. They ain't saying nothing. Not a word. So come on, Randall. I dare you, Randall. I dare you to call your boy Lawrence B. Jones at Fox News, who's down on the morning couch, and say, Lawrence, can I please come on to make a personal appeal to Trump to restore the programming for this, the funding for this program so we don't lose these jobs? I don't think that's going to happen, because you know why? Because see, Lawrence B. Jones ain't trying to be on the bad side of Donald Trump, because they all trying to kiss that orange MAGA ass. So isn't it interesting that you come on my show, you talk shit on Twitter, you didn't think I was going to invite you, then you did a bait and switch where you came on my show, then you used my show to raise money for your school, but now you complain about job losses of young people in your town, and it's Trump's fault and you ain't saying a word. Ain't that interesting? I guess that's how it goes these days, Michaela. The help is quiet when it's time to speak up.
I mean, that's why I wonder why.
Melinda, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You were going off about Michaela. You're living rent-free in your head. You're upset. I get it. But no, I just think it's funny that people like us are apparently on the plantation, but we're not afraid to actually criticize our party or people that we vote for, but they will not say anything about Trump when it is explicitly his fault. I just looked it up. It's the Department of Labor, and it's about his budget. That's why they cut the Job Corps program. So it is directly a result of him voting for Trump, and he doesn't want to have to reconcile with the fact that he was a part of the problem that made this happen.
No, Michael.
Well, Roland, we tried to tell him, and how many times have I talked about this document on your show before? Okay, this deals with the policies of the Biden-Harris administration that help black people. The Biden-Harris administration advances equity, opportunity for black Americans and communities across the country. Okay, this documents that. And right now, Donald Trump is wiping out the advancement that African Americans have made going back to the 1960s. On day one, he revoked Executive Order 11246, which was affirmative action. On day one, he revoked Executive Order 11985, which Biden signed on his first day in office, which put in motion all this that happened because that executive order dealt with equity and that immensely helped African Americans. So yes, it's good to have an independent school. We've been doing that for decades, independent schools, but we have to understand how politics impacts every aspect of your life, and your understanding of politics is directly related to your understanding of history. So there's a lot of people talking about politics that don't understand history.
Matt?
I don't have anything profound to add, but all I'll say is that I think it's a missed opportunity because you think, if you look at this from a nuanced perspective, I mean, this is an opportunity, right, for local people to, invest in this lost job program. But the issue with that is you don't have credibility if you don't call out why the job program was lost, which is your point. And that's the issue that I see here. I mean, it looks like this brother theoretically is trying to do something good in his community, but you lose credibility when you don't say why it's no longer there and why your desire to have proximity to power is more important than the actual things you claim to stand for, which is, having jobs in the community. You should be able to say this is gone because of a Trump policy, the same way you would surely say if that program was lost under Mr. Biden's administration, that this is no longer here because the Biden administration took it away from you. Unless you're willing to call a spade, you aren't credible. And I don't see why you wouldn't do that here. But I understand you got to kiss the ring. And that's what we're seeing conservatives of all colors do. They're all afraid to call out Trump. They're all afraid to call out his insanity because they want to keep that proximity to power.
And that's why y'all need to go ahead. Y'all got our t-shirt. That's why y'all need to get our new shirt. Hashtag we tried to tell you. FAFO 2025. That's why we got that shirt right there, because probably 2025, a bunch of y'all fucking around and y'all finding out real quick. All right. Somebody in the chat room said, damn, Ro, you on one today. Yes, I am. Y'all already know, I did not watch that crap yesterday. We were in Memphis with Reverend Dr. William Barber. I told y'all I wasn't going to watch it. We were not even streaming it. We wasn't doing any of that. But then all of a sudden, Lord have mercy, folk start texting me, start calling me. And this how it all started. What the hell was that? Did you see that? Did you hear that? And I was like, what are y'all talking about? And they were talking about the closing prayer that was led by that fool out of Detroit, Lorenzo Powell. Is it Lorenzo Small? What's his last name? Oh, Sewell. I thought it was Lorenzo Small. Okay, Lorenzo Sewell. If y'all missed it, go ahead and roll it.
We pray that you use our president, that we will live in a nation where we will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we are so grateful today that you will use our 47th president so we would sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and because America is called to be a great nation, we believe that you will make this come true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous hilltops of California, but God, we're asking you not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill in Mississippi, from every state, every city, every village, and every hamlet. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day where all of your children, black men and white men, Protestant and Catholic, Jew and Gentile, will be able to sing in the meaning of that old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We are free at last. If you believe where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Come on, put your hands together and give your great God great glory.
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand, and let me be real clear with y'all, and y'all know that there are certain words I do not use on this show. I don't let people use it, I don't use it. But that absolutely was a Sambo impersonation. That was a minstrel show. That was a damn abomination where that ratchet ass so-called preacher would dare use the words of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that he delivered on August 28, 1963, at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, that he would bastardize those words at the behest in a prayer for a fake Christian, for a man who is atrocious and pathetic. And see, what's even more, and the reason I say bastardized, because this so-called preacher skipped over what King said at the top of the speech, skipped over voting rights. He skipped over the check stamp insufficient fund. He skipped over police brutality. See, what he did is what all these other white Republicans love to do. They love to talk about the bottom of the I Have a Dream speech. They love that part, but they never want to deal with the real stuff in the top. See, they don't want to deal with the reality of what folk are facing. No, what he'd rather do was do some fake ass audition for Juilliard or some acting school by standing there and waving his hands and just all of this. He reminded me of Spike Lee's movie Bamboozled. Roll it.
Make headlines. The Huxtables, Cosby, a genius, revolutionary, but we can't go down that road again.
The network does not want to see Negroes on television unless they are buffoons.
Have you ever thought about just quitting?
I have a contract. The only way I get out of that is if I get fired, and that is what I intend to do. I know you're familiar with minstrel shows, variety shows, like in Living Color.
Right. That was dope.
Man Tan, the new millennium minstrel show.
We're gonna need a little more money for this.
This could be bigger than Friends, Ally McBeal, even my boys Amos and Andy.
Damn.
You're putting white actors in blackface?
We're using black actors with blacker faces.
Hollywood.
this fall.
Right on, man.
Yeah, great show.
You won't believe what's coming to your television.
Sleep and Eat and Mantan are lazy and unemployed.
Do your stuff.
But we are certainly not saying anything about the entire African American community.
What's sweeping the nation? And what's coloring the way you see the world.
Yo, we can't let this injustice go by, man. Not this time, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
You notice that everybody white want to be black. How about raising up? They all act better, sound better.
When are you going to come into the light?
The light.
The light.
Your hands are just as bloody as mine.
Cousins, I want you all to go to your windows. We talking about revolution. Go to your windows and yell out, I am not gonna take it anymore!
I don't want anything to do with anything black for at least a week.
He was Mantan. That's what that was. I'm just out here doing my shuffle for the white folk. There have been black pastors who have given prayers at Republican inaugurations before. 2005, Houston's Kirby John Caldwell gave a prayer. This is what a black preacher looks like giving a prayer at a Republican inauguration.
O Lord God Almighty, the supply and supplier of faith and freedom, how excellent is your name in all the earth. You are great and greatly to be praised. Oh God, as we conclude this 55th inaugural ceremony, we conclude it with an attitude of thanksgiving. Thank you for protecting America's borders. After all, as the psalmist reminds us, unless you, O God, guard the territory, our efforts will be in vain. Thank you for our armed service personnel. And it is with unswerving thanksgiving that we pause to remember the persons who have made the ultimate sacrifice to help ensure America's safety. Thank you, O God, for surrounding our personnel, their families, their friends, and our allies with your favor and your faithfulness. Deploy your host from heaven so that your will for America will be performed on earth as it is already perfected in heaven. I confess that your face will shine upon the United States of America, granting us social peace and economic prosperity, particularly for the weary and the poor. I also confess, O God, that each American's latter days will be better than their former days. Let it be unto us according to your word. Rally the Republicans, the Democrats, and the independents around your common good so that America will truly become one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice, and equal opportunity for all, including the least, the last, and the lost. Bless every elected official right now. Oh God, I declare your blessings to shower upon our President George W. Bush. Bless him, his family, and his administration. I once again declare that no weapon formed against them shall prosper. And God, forgive us for becoming so ensnarled in petty partisan politics that we miss your glory and flunk our purpose. Deliver us from the evil one, from evil itself, and from the mere appearance of evil. Give us clean hearts so that we might have clean agendas, clean priorities and programs, and even clean financial statements. And now unto you, O God, the one who always has been and always will be, the one King of kings and the true power broker, we glorify and honor you. Respecting persons of all faiths, I humbly submit this prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
See, that's called a prayer. What we saw by that fool, Lorenzo Sewell, was just complete and utter trash. Ben Watson, conservative brother. Ben tweeted this: Lorenzo Sewell is a complete disgrace. He should be ashamed of himself. What an embarrassment. He's absolutely right. And y'all, he made it worse. He made it worse because after he stood up there looking like a damn fool with his minstrel show, he then comes on social media to announce he's getting his own coin, his own meme coin, whatever the hell they call them, the latest fraud scam of Trump and his cohorts. Listen to this.
I need you to do me a favor right now. I need you to go buy the official Lorenzo Sewell coin. I want you to be able to see politics become manifest, not just in a way where we're praying over political gatherings, but where we're seeing us become the hands and the feet of the Lord Jesus Christ. Would you help?
Now, y'all notice in that despicable mocking of Dr. King, this in that minstrel show, Lorenzo Martin Sewell made no mention of Jesus and the poor. Lorenzo Martin Sewell made no mention of the least of these. Lorenzo Martin Sewell made no mention of Democrats and Republicans coming together to do what's right for the American people. No, what he did was give a minstrel performance for the ages to the world. That's what he did. But see, he didn't have the dignity nor the biblical understanding nor the gravitas, nor the common sense of Bishop Marion Edgar Budd, the bishop of the Episcopal Church Diocese of Washington, D.C., because see, today they had a national prayer service, and in her prayer, this is what she said to Trump and Vance and others assembled in the National Cathedral.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world. Amen.
Now I want y'all to freeze it right there. Now I want everybody to watching, put me in the 2 box. When everybody to watch to understand something, that here's a bishop talking about being merciful, who's talking about the poor, who's talking about the hardworking. Yet, she's talking about immigrants. She's talking about all of that. It's 2 immigrants sitting on the front row. Trump's wife, Vance's wife. Go to full screen of them. That's 2 immigrants sitting on the front row. Sitting behind him is his son. Sitting next to her, you see the daughter. You see, guess what? They are the children of an immigrant that was his first wife. Oh, and the right, they upset with that bishop. How dare she talk to him like that? And when he was asked coming back to the White House, it could have been better. He didn't like the service because he didn't like being confronted with the word of God. He didn't like a prophetic voice challenging him to do what's right. You know why? Because just yesterday, this modern version of King Saul stood up at the inauguration and chastised and condemned and just ripped apart the administration of Harris, of Biden and Harris, sitting right beside him. He didn't have a sense of dignity. He didn't have any morality. He didn't have any decency. He didn't put forth a vision of the nation moving forward. Talked about how awful and degrading and how bad things have been. That's because he is not a Christian. He is not a moral man, because if you actually know the word, if you actually go to church, by the way, no president has gone to church more than Joe Biden. If you understand the power of the word, then you would have never, ever said this. Go to my iPad.
Thinking, which is a great book. But have you ever asked God for forgiveness? I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't. Now, when I take, when we go in church and when I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker, I guess that's a form of asking for forgiveness. And I do that as often as possible because I feel cleansed, okay? But, to me, that's important. I do that. But in terms of officially, I could say absolutely, and everybody, I don't think in terms of that. I think in terms of let's go on and let's make it right.
That is a no good heathen speaking. And all of these white conservative evangelicals, and you can throw in some black ones too, have fallen for the okie doke. And when I try to get my little cracker and wine as much as possible. It's called the Last Supper. typically is done once a month. Catholics, it's done every week or every time you go to Mass. He don't know that. He ain't got no clue. He has no clue about asking for forgiveness and mercy. He has no understanding of grace. He doesn't know anything about Jesus dying for all of our sins, because that man ain't no lover of Jesus. He is an absolute demonic individual who is he's an agent of Satan. And I told y'all before, if you really want to go biblical, see, really what we're dealing with, Donald Trump is King Saul. The people of Israel have been freed, and God said, I got y'all. They said, oh, no, everybody else got a king. We want a king. God said, what's up? I got y'all. No, we want a king. So he said, Samuel, okay, go ahead and give him a king. But let me tell y'all what your king is going to do to you. Let me tell you how he's going to treat you, how he's going to abuse you, how he is going to screw you over. That's all biblical if y'all go read 1 Samuel. And so then Samuel goes and he looks at the sons and he chooses the tallest and most handsome one. And what does that punk do? He runs off. No, you can't run. I'm picking you as the king. And he was evil. Tried to kill David. Tried to break up the relationship between David and Jonathan. Donald Trump is King Saul, because you know what America said? We want a king. Oh, we want a king. Can we give us a king? Give us a king. So in his speech, I think that God saved me from the assassination because God wanted to make America great again. No, I think it's a little different, Don. I think God said, America, I'm going to give y'all the desires of your heart. Now, biblically, it does not mean that the desires of your heart actually means it's good. It means God will give you the desires of your heart. So America said, we don't care about January 6th. America said, we don't care about his ethics. We don't care about him grabbing women by their vagina. We don't care about his mistreatment. We don't care that he didn't pay people, businesses who did work for him. We don't care about the lawsuits. We don't care about the lying. We don't care about the mistreatment. We don't care about the degrading rhetoric. We don't care about none of that. We want a king. And what did he say? Day one, I'm going to be a dictator. Well, we've already seen that. But when you stand before the world to give a closing prayer, and then what you do is literally prostitute the words that Dr. King spoke, you actually thought you were preaching. You actually thought, Lorenzo Mantansul, that you were praying. No, what you were doing was you were pandering. You were posturing. You were presenting yourself to America as America's lawn jockey. And see, I said it. Those are words and phrases I don't use to describe folk on my show, but you took it to a whole new level. Your church is called 180 Church. I dare say, Lorenzo, you need to do a 180. But then again, Lorenzo, I see why you punked out and you were scared to come on this show after you had Trump at your church. I see why you ran to Fox News and others, because see, Lorenzo, you did not want to come to a place where we have reverence for the words and the actions of Dr. King. Instead, what you chose to do was make a fool out of yourself, as well as the tradition of the black church and that black preacher. Shame on you. And while you think MAGA and whatever coins MAGA tosses your way, just remember there was somebody else who got some coins for selling out Jesus. And we remember him a whole lot differently than we do the other men who followed Jesus. I'll go to my panel. Before I go to Joy, I did see this video that also quite reminded me of something.
Oh, Gen X, I cannot be the only one who thought this while I was watching this fella during the inauguration. Please tell me that I'm not the only one. Take a look at this and then take a look at what I thought of.
Let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee.
And, well, this here's what I thought of.
Only God can give that woman the kind of joy she had right there. Can I get an amen? Yes!
Come on now. I cannot be the only one. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Oh, Gen X.
Go ahead, Joy.
That'd be funny. I thought of that too. So I did watch yesterday. I am home in Florida, and my mom, we just couldn't resist. We did not say Christianly words at the TV, I'll admit that. But when the pastor came on, I just couldn't believe that I knew that he was engaged in a grift. I didn't know about the coins until afterwards. But I knew, I was like, if he's engaged with Trump, there's a grift involved. There's money involved. There's some effort to defraud and confuse and befuddle and to make some money off of this engagement. It was the worst acting ever. And I've seen a lot of bad acting. I just couldn't believe it. And a bastardization of religion. Just so embarrassing. And they laughed at him. That's what's so great. Stop looking at him. Look at the people behind him. They were laughing at him. J.D. Vance's wife was also, she had my face. It was confusing and obviously he didn't read the room. I mean, none of those people appreciated what he was doing. Even they knew it was off. And Black Republicans, you can be a Black Republican. I love that you juxtaposed with the Bush first inaugural. Think about how divided we were even at that time. But we didn't have a Black preacher come on and make a complete mockery of himself, a performance. And so we know that this person is not any kind of true man of God. He couldn't possibly be and have done all of that. The person we should be focused on is the bishop who spoke today. She is a reminder of what religion should be, what it can be. And frankly, Donald Trump should have expected that some minister was going to speak directly to him. And I wasn't even as appalled at Donald Trump's face during the prayer breakfast, but J.D. Vance's face. He was looking around. He was obviously...
No, he was looking down at Trump like, oh my Lord, she's saying to you, you gon', I can't believe. He was mad. He was mad. Power. First of all, Joy, here's what these folk don't understand. Well, they don't understand, I'm going to pull Jonas here. The purpose of a preacher is to convict those sitting in the pews. They're not supposed to be there to affirm you. The preacher is supposed to use the word to challenge you and to call you into question and to call you to do better when you leave. And all of these right-wing folk, Joe, are mad and upset. Oh, take their 501c3 status. How dare she talk that way? Because she talked the way a preacher is supposed to talk to power.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's the way Martin talked to power, right? And we whitewash how this country, as a country, we whitewash how we felt about Martin as if he wasn't killed violently, which he was. And so, a preacher is always going to call us to our highest purpose, to our highest morals, and they'll use the word actually to do it. So it was a bastardization of Dr. King's words to take his favorite parts of the speech, but not the other parts that really call into question what it is that's going on with those that are the least of us, right? And you know it's bad when you be sitting there and your eyes are closed to start, and at some point you just kind of got to open your eyes and be like, what in the world is going on here? And they were all doing the best they could to keep from busting out laughing, because this thing was really a clown show. It was a performance, and not a very good one. And it's not one that glorified God. It's not one that lift people up. All it did was, kind of kiss the president's behind, for lack of a better term. And so he sold himself out. But, it's probably not the first time he's done it. Probably won't be the last time. And since he was on minutes later talking about getting a commemorative coin, you know what his purpose is. And so the ministry yesterday did the right job. She did the right thing in terms of speaking to what it is that is supposed to be arisen out of us, our best instincts, reminding you this is the standard. You are in power and you have a position, and you have an ability to do this. And there'll also be accountability for not doing it. But that's another thing that the people that seem to be so excited that Donald Trump won, the evangelical types, the Christian types, or whatever else, they're not tripping off him not putting his hand on the Bible. Let Obama not put his hand on the Bible when he was swearing, I knew he was a Muslim and this and that and everything.
Hell, they got mad at him over a flag pin.
Right, yeah. In
a tan suit.
The hypocrisy is nuts. And what's so bad is that as a Christian, you stand on the outside and you just see non-Christians looking at this being like, nah, I'm good. Ain't no reason to jump into this because this ain't what's cracking like at all. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out and see the moment and time in which these so-called preachers stop undermining and undercutting their own salvation in order to kowtow to the president. Here's what
I find to be hilarious, Mustafa. Go to my iPad. This fool he did an interview with a bunch of different people yesterday, and he said, quote, if you take politics out of the Bible, you have no Bible. He said that religious leaders need to, quote, equip all people to understand that the Bible is a political book. Well, it's interesting, Mustafa, because there's a whole bunch of stuff he skipped. There's a whole bunch of stuff he didn't want to bring up. And see, again, what offends me is that you want to quote Dr. King on MLK Day, and you want to talk about content of character and all that stuff, and from the hills and all that, but you skipped over the thesis. See, what he did was he gave them the hoop part of the sermon, but he skipped the scripture. He skipped the basis. And so that's what he did. And so that's why I have no respect for it. And of course, you go on to social media, you see all of these white conservatives. Oh my God, he was amazing. He was just, I would go to his church if I was in Detroit. That's the kind of pastor I will follow. And they're mad at the bishop today because the bishop today gave a sobering message and specifically said, Mr. President, she challenged him in terms of how he should be responding and how he should be acting as president. And that's what they cannot stand. They can't stand because what the right-wing evangelical conservative community has done is they have completely stripped grace and mercy and humanity and compassion and care from the Bible. And instead, what you get, Mustafa, is vitriol and hatred from these individuals. And then if they do talk about grace, it's what Dietrich Bonhoeffer called cheap grace, that they ask for. And so these folk want to hold themselves up to be somehow the paragons of virtue, the individuals who we understand and we represent the true body of Christ, when you have these fake frauds like Franklin Graham, who would rather ask for forgiveness of Donald Donald Trump, who's cheated on all of his wives, who's cheated in business, who cheated in money, yet he didn't question the Christianity of President Barack Obama.
Yeah, well, one side of my family is ministers and deacons and deaconesses. So one of the things that I was taught as a young boy is that you don't play with God. And the bishop, and her demand to the president was saying, don't play with God. You've got this second chance. Sometimes God gives us the opportunity to be better, do better. So I hope that he does. Some folks, would probably not go that far, but I truly do, because I understand how many vulnerable people are out there. But, the other day I was also meditating and praying, and then I started writing. And, I was wondering who it was meant for. And the first stanza, I guess, is actually for Reverend Sewell, when I said all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Some grin for the win. Tap shoes clacking, backroom dealing, soul on auction, truth revealing. Dollars fold, but integrity bends. When devils pay, some friendships ends. So, I hope that he will realize the opportunity that he has. He's going to continue to have some form of a platform. I hope that that platform will be focused on our most vulnerable communities, on folks who are looking for some grace, who are looking for some protection, who are looking for some opportunity. And I hope as a minister that he would understand that that is the roots that he's supposed to come from, and that he will continue to share that message if he has the ear of the president, that he needs to do better with this second opportunity he has, not the second opportunity at the presidency, but that second opportunity to actually be able to breathe in some air, to have a heartbeat continue on. There's I would not play with God if I had those types of situations. I wouldn't play with God anyway. But, we'll see how it all plays out.